Go to America and check out.
Serious allegations regarding war and the Saudi royal family.
A former Saudi official has said that the kingdom's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman forged his father's signature on the Yemen war decree. Saad al-Jabri, a former Saudi intelligence official, made the claim in a BBC interview. He said an official linked to the Saudi Interior Ministry that he described as credible and reliable confirmed to him that Prince Mohammed bin Salman forged his father's signature for a royal decree declaring war against Yemen's Houthi rebels. Saudi Arabia did not immediately respond to a request for comment over the allegations, which al-Jabri has made without supporting evidence. However, the kingdom has described him as a discredited former government official. I'm Karen Chamas.
Tropical storm Gilma has strengthened in the eastern Pacific Ocean and is forecast to remain far from land this week. Storm about 625 miles southwest of the southern tip of the Baja California Peninsula of Mexico. Townhall.com. Speaker Johnson issued the following statement after Columbia University President Manoush Shafiq announced her resignation.
In his statement, Speaker Johnson said, quote, as a result of President Shafiq's refusal to protect Jewish students and maintain order on campus, Columbia University became the epicenter of virulent anti-Semitism that had plagued many American university campuses since Hamas's barbaric attack on Israel last fall. The speaker continued, quote, I stood in President Shafiq's office in April and told her to resign, and while it is long overdue, we welcome today's news. The speaker said, quote, we hope that President Shafiq's resignation serves as an example to university administrators across the country that tolerating or protecting anti-Semites is unacceptable and will have consequences. Bernie Bennett in Washington.
How are new home sales doing? We'll find out later this week. The government will be releasing its tally of new home sales for the month of July. More on these stories, townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. So they go guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Monday, everybody.
Ah, yes.
Full-on crazy week.
Full-blown craziness. Yeah, we kickstarting the football season as of this Friday.
It is, yeah. So it's like really
Less than a week.
official. Football happening Friday. Everybody's gearing up. Busy week. Of course, just garden variety busy week. You've got your normal stuff going in. Busy, getting school, getting settled in the groove. So, but yeah, football this week. So it kind of adds that next layer of this is what you're supposed to do in the fall.
Just when you get comfortable, just when you're okay with the routine, things are starting to kind of fit into place, people are where they're supposed to be, let's mess with it a little bit.
Well, of course, we will have football action for you. Roswell, they're on the road. We'll probably only have on the radio.
I believe radio only for Los Alamos.
Yeah, because we're up in that area where they generally have ProView covering videoage of it, so it won't be us. More than likely. I mean, we're going to try and ask permissions, but we pretty much know what's going to happen. We'll get the big no. Thank you for playing.
I think we have already tried.
Yeah.
And gotten the no.
Way our boss said it wouldn't happen. So I thought he said he's going to make another attempt.
Good. Yeah.
Of course, Goddard will be here at home. We'll have live streaming video of that as they take on Portales, I believe.
I believe, yes, the Rams of Portales and then the battle for Eddy County over in Artesia.
In which we will have both of those games live streaming video and on the radio. Catch Goddard Rocket football on the radio on our sister station, Fiero 106.1 FM. Roswell Coyotes will be right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Yep.
And then, of course, Bulldog action on our other sister station.
Artesia's own.
We got
KSVP.
We got
FM.
like kind of an 8 is enough kind of family. We got quite a few sisters.
A lot of sisters. You know, it just, I don't know if it feels weird when you say, our brother station.
Yeah, you never hear that.
What's up, brother station?
Hey, brother. They do have mustaches.
Yes, they do. Much like our printer.
It's like
which is a brother.
Blonde and nothing but handlebar. But yes, we will have football action for you this Friday night. So we do have a full week, full slate. Got a lot going on.
How was the weekend?
All right. It was decent. Kind of didn't do a whole lot. Kind of did some stuff. Kind of came back in and worked a little bit yesterday here. For a couple things, and just kind of laid low. Watched football Saturday night. It was pretty nice, pretty low. You know,
what did you do this weekend? I did nothing. It was amazing.
You had your birthday party,
so I overplanned a little bit. I came to the party.
Yeah.
I had to go to Big Lots to get one of those like bins to carry things in, and I filled this thing to the top. I mean, I'd already brought over, and it was in her freezer, all of my base spirits.
Right.
So in this container was all of my additional stuff, my mixer liqueurs, my bitters, my syrups, my smoker set, my actual bar set to, like, with the barware. This thing was like 75 pounds. I'm struggling to get it into the place. And we set up the bar in the back. And I set it all up, and then I posted a picture up. I might post it up over on the 106.5 page just to give it some perspective. But I basically planned to set up a Cheers, essentially. I had top shelves, bottom shelves. I had whiskey and scotch. But here's the thing. And I knew this going in, but I thought it would be a little bit more of an effort. I don't hang out with drinkers. My friends in general were not drinky people. Now, since the whole mixology thing, I've sort of upped it a little bit, but, I'm trying to be careful. I do have my father. I don't want to slip into genetic, tendencies.
I know that world.
But they're not really drinkers. So over the course of the evening, I mixed like 7 drinks. So I severely overplanned.
Well, good news is you got enough for the next 7 parties.
I have enough for like a year's supply of bar accoutrement. But
cool. Well,
it was a good party overall.
Good deal. Good. Well, we'll have to hear a little bit more. I got to get an interview on because it's kind of long, the one I'm replaying this hour. Chaffetz County Manager Bill Williams joined us on Friday to highlight the last county commission meeting, so we're going to play that for you. But it's about a 40-minute interview, so I need to get it going.
He's a rambling man.
Right. Well, doing the party.
I was going to say, two rambling men together.
Pot, meat, kettle. In the 8 o'clock hour, we're going to have Elliot Rodriguez with Loan Depot join us, give us an update on buying homes and getting finance. I believe he's going to bring a real estate agent guest with him as well. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, we're going to talk UFO Skate Collective, Skate Park. Tori with the Skate Collective will join us, and they've got a couple events coming up, and we'll get an update from them on skate park and skating and stuff.
Very good.
Plus, all of your features include newses of local, national variety, Wall Street business updates, sports reports. Got all that since we're full swing. But first, your hot and not pleasant weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. High pressure overhead, and that'll hang around for a while. We'll be at around 100 to 105 for the afternoon high today, and lots of sunshine. Down to about 70 for the overnight low under clear skies. Another hot day coming up on Tuesday and Wednesday. 100 to 105, and we'll stay mostly sunny. More heat on Thursday. That's your latest forecast. This is staff meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 74 here in Roswell. Humidity is at 41%. Winds calm at the moment. Expect a high of 101 today. South winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Clear tonight with an overnight low of 70. South winds 5 to 10. Tuesday 102 under sunny and hot conditions. South winds 5 to 10. Mostly clear tomorrow night. Overnight low of 70. South winds 5 to 10. For the rest of the week, Wednesday sunny and 104. Thursday sunny and 105. Friday sunny and 103. And then for the weekend, Saturday, sunny and 103. Sunday, sunny 101. So hot all week. No rest for the weary when it comes to the hotness this week. All right, 7:12, we're going to get you into your Roswell Livestock Report with Smiley Wooten. You're also Ballard and LaGrone Remembrance for today, and then we'll get you into our interview with Chaves County Manager Bill Williams on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Good morning, this is Smiley Wooten at the Roswell Livestock Auction. A nice dog days of summer run for today. We expect to sell 1,100 head, breaking down like this: 125, 150 weighing cows and bulls, 50 to 75 pairs of bred cows, 850, 900 calves and yearlings. Today's sale will include 25 to 30 cow-calf pairs, mostly black white-face, red white-face English cross cows with Angus and Charolais calves inside. Pairs 6 to 10 years old, 99 calves. Mr. David Gable at Roe Mesa, New Mexico. Ex-quality black white-face Charolais crossbred calves. Cattle Master 5-7 weight, medium condition 350, 500 pounds. 120 calves, light yearlings, Runyon Martin Ranch, Hope, New Mexico. Good quality black white-face, red white-face English crossbreds. 1 round of shots, thin condition, 350, 700 pounds. 54 calves, Kenneth Smith Incorporated, Hobbs, New Mexico. Ex-quality black white-face Angus crossbred calves. 1 round of shots, thin condition, 325, 425 pounds. 48 calves, Guadalupe Mountain Farms, Sierra Blanca, Texas. Ex-quality black white-face Angus cross calves, medium condition, 350, 550 pounds. 41 calves, 3 Bar Cattle Company, Jow, New Mexico. Ex-quality black white-face Angus crossbred calves, Bow Shield Gold 7-way, 300 to 600 pounds. 51 yearlings, RS Cattle Company, Belen, New Mexico. Good quality crossbred yearlings, weaned long time, 2 rounds of shots right off some fields, 700, 850 pounds. And 23 calves, Mr. Lim Sims, Mayhill, New Mexico. Ex-quality black Angus calves, 1 round of shots, 400, 500 pounds. Sale time this morning, 9 o'clock. Sell pairs of bred cows 9:30. Be selling calves and yearlings around 10. Fairly short on cows and bulls today, so don't be late. We expect to sell 1,100 head today. This is Smiley Wooten, Roswell Livestock Auction.
Ballard Funeral Home and Crematory and LaGrone Funeral Chapel have been celebrating life for over 90 years. Ballard Funeral Home and Crematory celebrates and remembers Joanne Bartlett, passed away in Houston, Texas. Services will be Saturday, August 24th, 9 a.m. at South Park Cemetery in Roswell. Sharon Holmes passed away on August 14th. Services will be Monday, August 19th, 11:30 a.m. at Rest Haven Cemetery in Lovington, New Mexico. Tracy Foucher passed away August 8th. No services are scheduled at this time. Brittany Brito passed away August 8th. Visitation will be Monday, August 20th from 1 to 4 p.m. at Ballard Funeral Home. Service is August 27th, 10 a.m. at South Park Cemetery in Roswell. Danny McFadden passed away August 2nd. Memorial service will be 10 a.m. Saturday, August 24th at First Baptist Church. LaGrone Funeral Chapel celebrates and remembers David Joe Stogden, passed away August 15th. Visitation will be Thursday, August 27th from 5 to 7 p.m. with Rosary to follow at 7 p.m. at LaGrone Funeral Chapel. Mass is Friday, August 23rd, 2 p.m. at St. John's Catholic Church, with interment following Mass at South Park Cemetery in Roswell. This has been today's Remembrance, brought to you by Ballard Funeral Home and Crematory and LaGrone Funeral Chapel.
The average American spends 2.5 days a year looking for lost items. We aren't sure how long Europeans and Asians look for lost stuff. We lost the list. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 21 minutes after 8 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, Chaves County Manager Bill Williams back with us. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. How about yourself?
I'm doing well so far.
How's life? Did you get your burrito this morning?
Well, actually, we went to Martine's this morning,
Ooh.
And I got a Marty McMuffin. Have you ever had one of those?
No, I usually go Huevos Rancheros.
So if think about a McDonald's egg McMuffin.
Yes, yeah.
So you take a English muffin,
Mm-hmm.
get your egg cooked however you want it, and I usually get them over medium. I like them to be a little bit juicy,
I like
but
a
not
little-
running all over.
I like a little yolk in my stuff.
And then you have a choice of what kind of meat you want. So you can get the sausage, or you can get the jalapeno sausage, or you can get bacon, or you can get ham, whatever you want on there, and green chili and cheese. And the green chili is nice and spicy this morning, so
Ooh.
it was a real pleasure.
You know
to
what?
eat that.
Maybe I need to break away from my Huevos Rancheros.
Well, and it's
try
a
that.
small breakfast too, so if you don't want to overeat, which
And
I
that's-
always want to overeat.
And to be
but-
honest, I need to be thinking that way
Yeah.
now. I'm at that point in my life where I got to stop eating like I'm a teenager.
So a little change of pace, but it was well worth the change. It was really good.
Good, yeah, because I'm a very go-to guy, and I'm like, I'm like, huevos rancheros, green chili stew. Thank you. Over easy.
Yeah, they kind of know what I'm expecting as I walk in.
Yeah.
So.
And then lunch, I'll go different because believe it or not, and I know this is they have great burgers and stuff over there too. And
Yeah.
I know people go over there and love get Mexican food. I'm like, no, I like their patty melts. I like their burgers.
I had a burger there Tuesday, I think. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
I'm like, no, I'll break that rule. I'll eat non-Mexican food here. Don't tell me what to do. But anyway, good stuff. But good. I'm glad. I'll have to remember that. I think I'm going to try to.
Yeah, it's really good. You can get it on a muffin, or you can get it on an English muffin, and I always get the English muffin. Kind of holds together a little better.
Well, it's got nooks and crannies.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
That's the big thing about English muffins. So, but for folks not familiar, of course, Bill is the Chavez County manager, and of course, he 99% of the time usually joins us the day after a county commission meeting, which
always
is the
try
case.
to.
Yeah, once in a while the meeting moves and we have to do things and to adjust accordingly. But generally, when Bill's here, usually the day before. Our county commission has met, or the day after.
Yeah.
The day before the county commission met. That's what I was trying to say.
I just misheard it.
Yeah. But so that being said, yes, our county commission did meet here yesterday. So and these are always one of those. Like, I feel like this is that time of year. It's like the calm before the next storm.
Well, that's pretty much true because it was kind of a boilerplate. You know, we start getting new agreements and stuff because the fiscal year ends June 30th.
Yeah.
July starts the new year. We had a bunch of agreements yesterday with children, youth, and families, juvenile justice continuum grant.
Sure.
Those things, and those all come in July. They have to be signed and sent back, so we have to ratify the agreements whenever we go to the commission.
Like after all the budget dollars have been decided and everything, now it's time to sign and execute the contracts and things.
Right.
To say yes, we're going to support you with X amount of funding for the next year here.
For a variety of reasons, the commissioners always approve those. So it may only need to be signed by the chairman.
Sure.
But still, they put it before the whole group and say, "Do y'all agree to this agreement?"
Again, transparency and just so everybody, and to be honest, if the public has an issue about something, this is how they know and find out about it. And then you can talk to your commissioner about, I have an issue with that, and here's why.
So we had 5 grants. The Juvenile Justice Continuum Grant, which is for at-risk youth. And so Wings for Life, elementary after-school program, Wings for Life middle school program, Chavez County CASA alternative education program.
Not that people complain about these. This is kind of the stuff they do every year. People you realize, it's like, the county, because all of these organizations in some way, shape, or form provide a service to the county.
Right.
And so they're basically getting compensated for that.
Yeah. CASA, they do wonderful things for us. We've got the alternative education, gender specific, and youth advocacy program. And then a little bit later on, we did the State of New Mexico Youth, Children, and Families Department, which is for at-risk juvenile or children. So anyway, it's that time of year when we have a lot of catch-up. It was a pretty short agenda. Did have a kind of an unusual twist and turns. Usually it's pretty easy to expect and anticipate what's going to happen.
Follow the timeline.
And things changed a little bit yesterday, so it was kind of interesting.
So a wrinkle or two was thrown in for funsies yesterday.
Yeah, and nothing bad or anything like that. It was just didn't go the direction that it.
And this is
like
why we have these public forums, just for this very reason, to dot the I's and cross the T's.
Right.
Like, oop, an I forgot to get dotted. Let's fix that. That's in essence what's going on here.
Yeah. So we started out, and we have our usual introduction. People from our community come in and give us reports and stuff. So Mike Spiritu from the EDC Chamber came and gave us an update. The 4-H, who have a new representative with them, Mrs. Wright. We met Mr. Wright a few weeks ago when we went to Littlefield,
I feel like
Texas.
this is a movie plot here, waiting for Mr. and Mrs. Wright.
But she's in their 4-H program now, and so they
Andrea
came
went on to work
at the university.
At the university,
she's
now,
doing great things at a little higher level.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
that's really good.
But she was a 4-H for as long as I can remember.
For a long time. Yeah, she was in there for
she did a great job.
several years.
So the new person's got a probably good foundation, thanks to Andrea, on where to keep the program running and going.
Absolutely,
there.
and their whole staff over there, they
the extension
all
office
in.
does great work.
Oh my gosh, no one over there's phoning it in. They are all working,
and it's all hands on deck because that office they do more than just 4-H. By the way,
right.
They're your home economic site because they're a product of New Mexico State University.
Right.
That's kind of their employer per se.
Right.
And but they if you need that's the master gardeners, all the Drew stuff, and if you got commercial or private gardening and plant stuff issues, they're the people. Anytime you're dealing with pecan weevils, they're the folks that help you navigate through that. So they do way more than 4-H over there. But all, I guess, the 3 people in that office now they're back to 3.
Yeah. Well,
they kind of all help in every same way. So one will be helping.
And then they have Amy also, who does the Snap.
Yes.
Snap stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know for sure.
Snap program. We'll
Snap
go with
program.
that.
Yeah, I think that's what it's called, not Snap stuff. But and then they have some other help there too. And everybody over there does a really good job. Yeah. And of course, Drew needs a lot of attention and babysitting. So the more they have to watch
Bill
over
said
him.
That, not me, Drew.
Now Drew's great. Whenever
Absolutely.
I'm trying to identify weeds or grasses in my pasture and stuff, I'll say, I don't recognize that one, and I'll take a photo of it or pull some up and take them to Drew and say, Drew, what is this? And he'll say, if you'd brought it to me before it was 4 days old, I might have been able to tell you it was pretty
now
droopy.
It's just a dead leaf.
Yeah. So I usually have to go back home and get a photograph or whatever, and then he responds right away and says,
They do. And matter of fact, I can't remember. It's either the second or third Saturday of the month. They're out at the library. Of course, the library's having some AC unit issues, so a lot of that's on hiatus right now. But normally, each month, the master gardeners, Drew and his other people there's actually people that know more about gardening than he does.
Yeah,
and they're usually they're the ones that are usually running the library free classes they do once a month.
And back when I had a public applicator's license for spraying pesticides, Drew's office, Drew wasn't there at the time, but they always give us our continuing education units. You have to have those every year to maintain your license, and so I always enjoyed going over there, and they always had really good people come in and talk to us about all kinds of cool stuff. So that's always interesting and fun.
I remember, because we've had the extension office on since the show started, and back when we started this show, back in 2015, back then Sandra Barraza was kind of the Drew of that time period, and she was equally, probably, who knows, Drew will tell you she knows more. I'm sure Sandra will say more. They'll have that argument all day, but they're both very well versed in that. And Sandra, matter of fact, I used to, because there's a tree that it's slightly more mature and bigger now, but there was this tree and it just had green bark, and I just kept calling it the weed tree because it literally it's an elm. No, it's actually Sandra's the one who identified it as some kind of breath of life, something
tree of heaven,
something like that. That tree is that thing, and now it looks like a tree, so you can't really. But for many, many years, it just looked like a big weed.
Yeah, Sandra's really good, and she's really good with range grasses too. She's got a real ability to identify. Grasses are hard. I remember in high school when I was judging crops, and that's the broadleaf plants are a lot easier to identify. They're pretty distinctive. Get to grasses, and almost every one of them looks exactly the same.
It's green or brown, and it's long and skinny.
So anyone that can identify grasses is tops in my book.
That's right, absolutely.
So, along with our people that came and talked to the commission yesterday, we had Dan Jennings from 100% Chaves County. He came.
We've had him on the show. Another great. They do a lot of stuff in the community. From everything from homeless to resources for people getting in touch with whatever resources they need to do whatever they got to do to get to the next thing. That's what they do.
And we got him to do a report. Well, he did the report yesterday, but he did some research for us, looking into ways that we could maximize our funding that we have for opioid use disorder.
This is the lawsuit money from the opioid thing.
So we have about $2.5 million, and it's going to be coming in over about 15 years funds. We've talked with the city about pooling our funds and trying to put together something. We're still negotiating somewhat on that, but we have a considerable amount of money, so it's a good head start. And we don't want to just.
And I'm sure there is, it's got to be used in some form of health-related treatment.
Well, it has to be for opioid use.
Directly, okay, not just general health care, opioid use.
Right, there's a percentage of it. I think they said up to 15% of it or something could be used for other mental health disorders, which are often
all attached
together.
Because opioids generally are a treatment for a bigger issue.
For another issue. And a lot of times people get hooked on them or whatever. Exactly, but so anyway, there's a need to find ways to utilize those funds to do it. And so he presented a report talking about how many children, for instance, are born in Chaves County that are hooked on methamphetamine, those kind of things. And, it's a really sad thing, but that happens not only in our community and all communities. But he presented a good, robust report about all the different things that are going on here and the different categories that they would fit in within the opioid fund. So we're at least getting some identification.
Well, and that's it. We got to do your research. Let's get, quote unquote, looking for the most bang for our buck here.
Right.
And that's really what we're trying to do.
Commissioner Daradana and Counselor Christina Arnold have worked pretty tirelessly. They have a monthly meeting and they get together with some other community leaders and healthcare professionals and try to determine a direction for us to go. And this is all new. We've never had.
But it's so important because, and this is me personally, I think, we need to address the opioid mental health, that side of thing. If we can invest and do, I got a feeling some of our other problems will go away.
Well,
is all I'm saying. Once we get a hold on mental health and start treating it like cancer and everything else, and start funding it and researching it like we do cancer and Alzheimer's and all these other, for lack of a better term, more sexy diseases. You know what I'm saying? Till we do that, we're going to have these problems. But I think if we really do, and this is a start of that, investing this back in, I think we're going to find other quote-unquote issues that we're having starting to less be issues because we're tackling the source of the problem.
Right, and this is a good influx of cash that we can use to figure out how we're going to carry this into the future. It's not just a one-time bang, we're done with whatever project we're investing in.
Sure.
This should help us to have something that we can continue with for years to come.
Absolutely.
And before we get too far off this topic, I want to say that the jail is not the appropriate place to do mental health care. And that seems to be the unfunded mandate that comes out of Santa Fe all the time, is if there's a way that we can force you to do this in the jail, the medically assisted treatment program, where each county jail basically becomes the drug dealer for the community.
And then,
that's not
you could
right.
have the philosophical debate, and it's like, well, what's the point of a prison? Is it to punish or is it to rehab? And I always say it's both. Because, yes, if you can rehab and rehabilitate someone, then by all means, let's do that. But some people absolutely refuse to go down that path. And what are you going to do? What are you going to do with them?
Right.
If they won't accept the treatment, they refuse to do it, and you're doing everything in your power to get them to say, do the process. How you got to punish them? You got to lock them up, put them away. If they're refusing to be in society because of and they're not willing to work on their crimes, then guess what? Then you ain't seen the light of day.
And there are a lot of people that mental health issues cause them not to be able to react.
But there's people
but you do not send them to the jail and expect a jail officer to be the person that treats them and helps them through that. And that's why we need our state hospital back. And that's why, rather than blow a lot of money at our state, we've got record amounts of money coming out of southeastern New Mexico, out of the oil fields. We should be building state hospitals. They haven't been unable to send people to Las Vegas for so many years because it's an antiquated, too small. Maybe they need to redo that. Maybe they need to build one in Las Cruces, another one in Albuquerque.
Well, and that's the thing, too, is people, it's like, because we all think of insane asylums and the things we think of in the 40s, 50s, and all the stuff. I'm like, no, we need the state mental hospital still, but what goes on in the building in terms of treatment is way different than what it used to be. That's what we need, the concept of a place to take people that have these issues and they're being problems in society because of these issues, but they don't necessarily deserve to be locked up and thrown away in jail because ultimately it's a medical thing.
It's a medical thing, and we should not be put in that position to try to help someone through a mental problem.
Or put them in a place where they're locked up with people that, let's face it, are bad people. And it's all about influence. People with mental health issues they're going to be influenced by the environment they're placed in. That's you could do
I'm sure you could do 7,000 scientific studies. You put, and it'll prove what I'm just saying right now, that you put them in this environment, that bad things will happen.
Well, and the same thing with the drug treatment. You know, we can do some education and things like that in the jail. We do those types of things in our jails. But as far as actually treating the people, you have to have a medical degree. We don't have medical degrees, and we should not be put into that position where we're responsible for that, and each of our counties is responsible for the liability that comes with that as well.
Let's just face it. You wouldn't want the warden of a jail making decisions on your health care, no more so than you want your doctor making decisions on your security.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
And that's, you know, this is a pretty good segue. We also approved an agreement yesterday for Roadrunner Health Services to provide our health care within our jail facility.
Excellent. Good deal.
So we hired them last year. Actually, I think it was 13 months ago. We the way the contract fell, we ended up extending it for a month or something like that. It's a little bit unusual. Normally it's 12 months, but because of circumstances, it was either 13 or 13 and a half months, something like that. So we got that all done. We went out for a request for proposals. We had some entities request to be evaluated to be our healthcare provider. We stayed with Roadrunner Health Services again, and they're doing a good job. And again, going back to jails, that's what we do. We hire the best qualified people for our jail, and then they're the ones responsible. So if someone comes to jail and they're sick, they take them over to medical. Medical takes care of them with the appropriate medical professionals, and then we return them to their cell or to their pod or whatever the case is. And the responsibility for that is on them.
You let the experts that are experts in their field make the decisions on what need to be done there.
Right. Yeah. And you know, just mandating that now you're going to add a program to your thing for medically assisted treatment of opioids, your cost for your healthcare provider goes up because they have to have additional people there because they have the liability to watch people. So they have to have additional people, which they charge us for. We have to have additional guards, officers, whatever you want to call them, because they have to be segregated and held separately from others.
Absolutely.
You have to have a whole nother area to hold them because they can't just be in the general population now.
Yeah. You're trying to treat people, but you're doing it in a place where you have to add a whole nother level of security and things because of the nature of what they do.
Right.
Whereas a state hospital,
it's all at one-stop shopping.
Yeah, and that's all they do. You're not dealing with people that are mentally, for lack of a better term, healthy. They just committed a crime. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That you know, and when you're, it's kind of like I'll give you an example. Like about 10 years ago, they filmed a movie at the radio station in Artesia called Roswell FM, and you could probably find it on Amazon.
I'll have to
check it out. But anyway, they filmed that. They spent a week filming that movie in the radio station. And that's when he learned you can't have a radio station on a movie set. You know why? Because as soon as you talk or do anything, they're yelling at you to be quiet on the set. and it's kind of like the same thing. If you're in a jail here and all that, you know, you can't really do the real medical stuff that needs to be done because there's too many other variables in the room that prevent that from happening. And where a state hospital doesn't have to worry about that. It's all there. That's all we're doing here. We're not doing anything else. And in the jail, can focus on treating and running and the day-to-day jail for people that, you know, security,
have broken the law.
Rehabilitation as needed, going to their treatment programs and things, you know, their reform classes or whatever they're doing in there to get better. But at the same time, not having to deal with, you know, people that are classified as insane for whatever reason, bipolar
and the
whatever,
other thing that we haven't touched on either is if it's a medically assisted program, you have to provide them an alternative to the drug that they're on, like Narcan. This is hundreds of thousands of dollars a year paid for by the counties, by the taxpayers, you and I.
Yeah, by the way, these are all cutting-edge drugs that are very expensive.
For something that we shouldn't be involved in. That should be a state issue. It should not be a county issue.
Sure.
You guys should handle that on the state level, just like state hospital and all. But anyway, that's a whole nother rant.
Another philosophical
but
thing.
Just really get tired of the unfunded mandates and the responsibilities they place on county jails. And Chaves County's got a good, you know, robust jail system. Look at some of these small counties in New Mexico. You know, this is a big issue for them.
Well, and that's when you start seeing some of these issues on the news when they, you know, when you turn on and there's an issue at one of these places and it's Partly because, like you said, it's not enough resources, not enough expertise, and too much product to maintain and manage. That's in a nutshell what's going on there.
If you're hired to be a detention guard, and they're having you do all kinds of things outside the scope, it's no different than you, who are a radio personality, and I want you to repair my television set. Yeah. You're kind of lost.
I try, but I ain't guaranteeing you get a fixed TV. I recommend you go buy a new one, sir. But yes, you're right. Absolutely.
So moving on,
yes.
we had a pretty simple commission meeting yesterday, a lot of just boilerplate, redoing stuff. We had suspension of the minimum property tax requirements. We have a 99.3% collection rate in the treasurer's office. They do a great job.
I'll say that's pretty good.
Yeah, they really do a good job. The assessors set the taxes and all. The treasurers send out the bills. Sorry, dropped my phone. The treasurers send out the bills, and then they make the collections. Okay. And they do a really good job of doing that. But because they collect so much, this minimum property tax, say if you're $100 delinquent, that's all that it is, there's a $5 penalty for that. And we could suspend that. We don't have to do that. If
someone's don't get rich off that $5 penalty.
Someone's a day late, it's
at
not the end of the world.
You're just being annoying. You're not actually serving a function there.
We don't have a big problem with that.
Sure.
So
no,
we're
granted,
saying,
if there's enough people doing it and they collect enough $5, then we can get income and turn that back. But like you said, it's 99 point whatever it is. So there's like two people out there that owe the county $5.
Yeah, and why bother? If it becomes a problem, we can reinstate it. It's no big deal.
It's easy enough to get mad at government. You don't have to try to do things to intentionally make it easy for them. So,
we approved our resolution and agreement with the Southeastern New Mexico Economic Development District, the local council of governments. They help us in a lot of different areas. We participate with them and have for many, many years, and they're kind of our pipeline to getting things done in the legislature. Sure. We need funding for buildings. We need programs, that kind of thing. They do a wonderful job of connecting all the pieces and helping us with
anytime you're rural counties, rural municipalities, it strengthens numbers in those things because, the big boys got all the guns they want, to fight and to make these. And I'm being figuratively speaking, folks. Don't get all, you're talking about them going and guns. No. Figuratively speaking, of course. But this is how rural and small communities, that's how we get our voice heard. They anytime we're fighting sand dune lizard, that's why you always hear Quay County, Curry County, Chavez County, but in county, 7 counties in Texas, 8 counties and it's because that's the only way we get people to listen. And then so that's why these partnerships are so important for when those moments, and they always happen.
And on that subject, we talked about, we went to Littlefield, Texas to talk about the expansion of the Muleshoe National Wildlife Refuge. I believe that's nothing more than
which we had a great conversation
than a land
with
grab
a couple weeks ago here on the show. I invite you to go back and check it out. We had, of course, our state senator elect. We had a couple of county commissioners, Roswell and Chavez County represented bills there. We had a great conversation there. Go check that out if you want to learn more about that.
Well, it's a 6,000 acre refuge, two parcels that make up 6,344 acres, something like that. And they want 7 million acres to land protection area around their refuge, and they want to acquire 700,000 acres of that in fee simple. So we went to Littlefield, Texas. First time Texas has been confronted. They don't have a whole lot of federal lands in Texas. They have a few wildlife refuges. They have a couple national parks. It's not like New Mexico, Utah, Nevada, where we have millions of acres of BLM land in the midst of our state. So it was kind of new and different for them to see the federal government try to reach out and take private land out of ownership. So we went over, had a meeting there. There were several hundred people there. There's probably 60 to 80 people from New Mexico, drove all the way over to Texas for this meeting. They're putting together another meeting now on August the 20th, next week. And they've invited county commissioners from all those Texas counties. They've invited county commissioners from our New Mexico counties. And they want to have a good front, figure out the strategy that they're going to take to try to fend this thing off. So that was a good segue into that.
Yeah,
talking about the lizards and the chickens and whatever, and the crane. This 7 million acres is for the sandhill crane, which according to all reports, are not imperiled. There's no issues with Sandhill Crane, and not even close.
Yeah.
And why in the world would you need 7 million acres, a large portion of it in eastern New Mexico?
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like that scene in TV and movies and stuff where the guy's like, hey, can I borrow some money from you? And you're like, yeah, sure. And you pull out your wallet. How much you need? $10 million. Okay, never mind. That's that moment. Like, yeah, we're going to help. How much you need? 100 acres? 7 million. Oh, never mind.
Yeah. You're going to have to go somewhere else for that. So I'm trying to cover, there's one topic I want to get back to here in a minute. We asked for permission to publish for a public hearing at next month's meeting to repeal ALETA ordinance number O-100, which was for Leprino. Leprino got a couple $100,000 to build a new freezer and some other enhancements they're building. That project's long done, and as a part of the ALETA, they have to meet certain employment benchmarks and goals, and they've met all those, and so the terms of the agreement have all been satisfied. So we have to repeal the ordinance with another ordinance. It's something the state requires us, has to be removed by the same method it's put into place.
This is why government is fun.
So we had ordinance number 100 enacted to provide the monies through the state of New Mexico. Intergovernmental agreement and project participation agreement are all a part of that. They completed all the portions, so now we're going to pass ordinance number, I believe it's 0116, I think it will be the number. And all that does is says that 0100 no longer exists because it's done. So we also had a condemnation resolution a few months ago. Actually, I believe it was the end of last year. The gentleman appealed it, came in, and they did not accept his appeal, but they did allow him some time to clean up his deal.
So they gave him some grace, but not
so they gave him
fully
6
what he's
months.
asking. Yeah.
6 months. We put together an agreement says you'll do these things in 6 months. He's made a tremendous amount of progress. He's not done. He wanted some more time. They said, we'll give you 3 more months.
And that's just it.
To clean it up. We don't need the county to do it. We want him to do it.
And that's just it. When the county, and for the city for that matter, get into these condemnation situations, they don't want to do this any more than you want them doing it. And so if you legitimately show that you're trying to work with them, they're going to work with you. And this is kind of proof in that. It's like, these get extensions, but you know what? He didn't get it done in the 4 months or whatever was allotted, but we can clearly see this person's making an effort. He just didn't start last week. Oh, man, I got to do that. No. And so when you see that, the commission's like, no, we're going to work with you. You're trying to work with us. We'll work with you. It's these folks that say this and then don't do nothing, and then they turn around to nothing, and then they got to condemn this place because even though, despite, in most cases, years of talking and back and forth, these things happen.
He's gotten rid of hundreds of cars. There's still probably about 100 cars, and there are, I believe I counted 21 trailers, RVs, campers, those kind of things that people tend to stay in, and felt like that was a very crucial part.
And let's face it, generally when the county gets involved,
because we don't need a camp of
and that's just it too. The county, especially, and the county's different than the city, obviously, because people live in the county expect a different lifestyle than people live in this. That's just the nature of the beast here. But that being said, if you're creating a danger to the public or a health and safety issue to the public, that's when the county will step in. No, they're not going to go in and like, oh, well, your bushes aren't trimmed or you got too much weeds. No, this is the county. They care about. But if you've got 80,000 junked out cars, on your property, or you've got copious amounts of junk just laying around, that's a huge fire hazard. Then we got to get involved.
Well, and that's exactly what brought this person onto the radar screen. They had a fire.
Yeah.
And it burned up a lot of their property and burned up or nearly burned up a lot of the neighbor's property. They also don't have the appropriate fences. They've encroached on the neighbor's property with their 10 million cars. Neighbors all around.
And this is the exact reason why the county gets involved for this very reason. Yes.
They're
because you have rights too, just like they do.
Exactly. You've got 10 people saying this is wrong. You've got to step in and correct the
problem.
But
that being said, if the offender is truly trying to make a difference, then we're not going to, destroy them. But and I get it. And this is the juggling that the county commission. Are they really working? Or are they giving us the song and dance here? And they determined, no, there's a true effort here. And it sounds like, quite frankly, it's a Herculean effort was what we're doing here. This guy's got years and years of crap that's just accumulated that just needs to go.
Right, and he's cleaned most of it up. I mean, they're like I say, a big concern is any place that people could be living and camping illegally. There's no sewer hookups. There's none of this stuff. You've got to get that stuff cleaned up. You've got to get a fence up around this thing. Those terms were
That's
added.
why people talk about like man camps and stuff for homes. Like, that's a great idea, but you've got to have the logistics in place. Sure, we got plenty of land, and yeah, we do. But if you can't get water, if you can't get electricity, if you can't get the things you need to it, then it's a bigger Herculean task. And by the way, you ever done a thing to go get water or electricity or telephone, move to a remote property? It's not cheap because they generally got to drop some kind of lines and like, oh yeah, we can do that. It's going to cost you about $50,000 to get that done.
Yeah, it can get really complex real quick. So the one thing I wanted to mention quickly that I said, usually our commission meetings are pretty easy to.
Oh yeah, we did have a wrinkle
to figure out what direction they're going. You feel like you have a pretty good understanding of what they're going to say, what they're going to do, how they're going to vote on things. Just by kind of knowing the personalities of our commissioners and all. And yesterday was one of those exceptions. Our commissioners always pretty much row in the same direction. Everybody's working towards the same goals, and the same thing with this one yesterday. However, we had a resolution to support the Convention of States objectives, and we talked about that a little bit last month. I'll go back over that again here in a minute. It was voted down 3 against, 2 for.
Okay.
So, I mean, we had a split in our, and everybody left amicably, and we all understand each other's point of view, and now I'll get back to what it is.
We had a discussion and vote, and this is the results of it.
Right.
Yeah.
So, a few months ago, this organization reached out to one of our county commissioners and said, I'd like you guys to consider this. There's been several counties in the state of New Mexico who have passed this. There are 19 states, I think, so far that have gotten on board with the Convention of States. And what it is if 2/3 of the U.S. states go to Congress and say, we're the states, you work for us, and it has to be 38 of them, has to be 2/3, have to go to them and say, we want you to correct these things. And they all have to say the same issues.
Okay.
So it can't be this state says, I want you to fix this. This state says, I want you to fix that. This one
Y'all
says
get on the
something
same page and tell
everybody
us.
on the same page.
Yeah.
And they had this narrowed down to 3 topics, the Convention of States. And they've been working on this for about 10 years.
Okay.
And they wanted to have reforms as far as the monies that are being spent by Congress and by our government. We can't continue to go into debt, however many trillion we are.
We have to be fiscally responsible.
So that's the first one, fiscal responsibility. The second one is to stop government overreach, and that's one that I always, how do you even define that? But that's also a portion of what the Convention of States does. It has to identify exactly what the root problem is and define that. And the third one is term limits on our administration in Washington. Now what those limits are, who knows? What's appropriate? Is it 12 years, 16 years, 20 years? Who knows?
Yeah, start in Congress.
But the states don't actually have a vote on any of this. All they do is say, Congress, you work for us. We're saying you will address these 3 items.
Sure.
And these 3 items have to be addressed. Now, you guys put together the bills get put together, and they get sent back to the states. And the states ratify these bills, not Congress. And so you have to have 2/3 of the states say, we agree, this one should be done, this one shouldn't be done, this one, whatever. And so...
And those are good I agree with all 3 of those things. I'd even tack on one more, and I know you only get 3, but is the process on how members of Congress are assigned to committees. That is all
interesting.
Whole glad backhanding, good old boy type thing. Instead of putting the people that are actually qualified to be on these various committees based on their experience and expertise, they're put on based on how you vote, who you know, and which side won in the election.
Right.
And instead of having the smartest people in the room talking about oil and gas, we're talking about the most connected people in the room talking about oil and gas.
And the same thing with cabinet secretaries and all the way through.
Yeah,
there's a real disconnect.
That's another one I'd add to that list. It's like, no, we gotta revamp how these people are put in these positions.
So last month, Miles Culbertson, who's the executive director of Convention of States for the state of New Mexico, came and spoke to all the commissioners. So, like I say, a few months ago, he reached out to one of the commissioners. The commissioner talked to me about it. And what we always do when someone comes up to us with a request for something to be considered by the Board of Commissioners, we have to vet that out. So first thing I did was I started researching and said, yeah, this is a legitimate thing that's been going on for years. It's a big question. Do we want to be involved? Do we not want to be involved? So, of course, the chairman and I discussed. He said, yeah, let's pursue this a little bit. And so we asked Mr. Culberson to come and speak to the Chaves County Commission. He came and spoke to them last month, explained the whole process and everything. All the commissioners got to sit there, ask questions, whatever. In the meantime, we have one county commissioner who's an attorney, and we respect his opinion very much.
He's got an educated opinion in these legal matters.
Yeah,
obviously.
legal matters, definitely. So anyway, he let everyone know yesterday, and he did it in a great manner. He says, I probably should have done this sooner. He says, but I've been researching. I've read hundreds of articles about this, trying to figure out. He says, this has never been done in the U.S. before. And he says, frankly, it scares the hell out of me. There are certain
Legally
things
speaking,
he says, on the surface, I agree. I think we need to correct these things. But by doing it by this process, there's too many unknowns because it's never actually been done before. And so that's kind of the wrinkle. Sure. Everyone respected that opinion because we all agree that something needs to be done. Sure. Is this what needs to be done? I don't know. What? And of course, I don't have a vote, but they all voted. They were split. I think everyone agrees that it would be a good idea to address these things. How to address them, that's the question.
Sure.
And so that was our little wrinkle. We're very fortunate that our Chaves County government, our county commissioners, work together.
Absolutely.
They treat each other with respect. They honor each other.
Well, and that's how government works.
We recognize that this particular commissioner is one of our in-house experts, and we all respect his opinion.
Absolutely.
They all respect his opinion, and
and that's how good government happens.
Right.
You put people in positions, and you elect them because of their expertise. And therefore, if you don't listen to their expertise once in their position, who's the idiot? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So anyway, it's the resolutions passed and down doesn't mean they couldn't bring it back at some later date or something and ask again. Mm-hmm. But for the time being, they just didn't feel like there was enough evidence that this was the right direction to go. And it may be the right direction, but
we got to do some more vetting.
Yeah, we've got to figure this out. And like I say, I do my part to vet it. This is a legitimate thing. It's not just some crazy tinfoil on their head. This is a real deal, and that's what I passed along. And then the decision is for the county commissioners
and I'm sure,
to make.
Attorneys for the county are going to be digging into this and seeing all the pitfalls and caveats as well, and come to a consensus once all the information's vetted. Right. Yes, this is a good idea, or no, we need some amending on this before we present it in the way in which we're trying.
And like I say, there's been several counties in New Mexico that they felt it was right, and we don't disagree with them. And same thing, several states have already got on board and said we would like to see this done.
Yep.
Maybe it's right, maybe it's but it's a debate.
But the devil's in the details. We've got to get it right. Sure, I want world peace too, but how are we going to do that?
Right.
We got to figure that one out. So same thing. So good deal. Of course, you can always don't forget these are public meetings. You're always invited. The county does stream them. If you go to the Chaves County Facebook page, you can watch them live and on demand for yourself there. If there's any parts that you want to learn more or hear more about that we talked about and didn't get a chance to delve more into and you want more information, go back and watch it yourself.
And yesterday's was a very quick meeting. I will say Commissioner Bilberry, Chairman Bilberry, he runs a tight ship when it comes to a meeting. We get it done. And like I say, most of this boilerplate, he always stops when we need to discuss things.
If it needs to be, then it is.
But when it's just a matter of
as a person that's sat on various boards and been a part of these
really
meetings,
appreciate a person
you
like
appreciate
that.
a person that has the ability to keep it flowing and keep it going and mitigate the delay times on things. You can never, because we all get. I'm just bad. I'm a cause of half of them too.
Yeah.
Most of the time, but I appreciate people who say, "All right, shut your hole. We got to move on."
Let's get out of here.
On that note, we got to shut our hole and move on. Thank you, Bill.
That's a great segue. Thank you.
We will see you next time, if not sooner.
All right.
It's 9:01. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico. News in progress.
With some
Original deadline was today, but FEMA announced the extension on Friday. A spokesperson said the extension comes thanks to a request from Governor Grisham. Some local residents, including Ruidoso Mayor Lynn Crawford, said the deadline was passing so quickly that many survivors of the ongoing disaster could be left without vital help. The Roswell Museum is announcing the exhibition Esther Elia, Kosh Min Laka. The exhibition will be on view August 31st through November 17th in the Roswell Museum's Entry Gallery. An artist talk is scheduled for August 30th, followed by a reception in the gallery. Emerging interdisciplinary artist Esther Elia's work includes ceramics, painting, sculpture, and wearable art, reflecting her identity stemming from her mixed Assyrian and Irish background. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello.
It's time for the Chaves County Sports Report. Girls soccer season begins tomorrow for Goddard and Roswell. In fact, they're playing each other. The Goddard girls playing at Roswell. That's the designation for this game. That starts at 6 o'clock. We told you about Roswell last week. How about, or a couple weeks ago, how about Goddard? Last year, 12-7-1 on the season, 4-1-1 in district. They've got a lot of offense coming back. In fact, a lot of the team was very young. Olivia Rosso was only a junior last year when she scored 19 goals. Bella Flores was a junior last year. She scored 9 goals. Lauren Madrano was only a junior last year. She had 5 goals. And both of the keepers, main keepers for the Rockets, are back. Kaylani Houtby was a sophomore. She had 97 saves. And Liz Chavez, as a junior, had 53 saves for Goddard. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander. A surge in optimism by Democrats over the prospects of Vice President Kamala Harris lifted U.S. consumer sentiment this month. The University of Michigan's Consumer Sentiment Index edged up to 67.8 after coming in at 66.4 in July. California Governor Gavin Newsom has signed a bipartisan package of 10 bills that aims to crack down on smash-and-grab robberies, making it easier to go after repeat shoplifters and auto thieves, and increase penalties for those running professional reselling schemes. The U.S. Federal Trade Commission is suing Asbury Automotive Group, alleging 3 of its dealerships in Texas charged Black and Latino customers higher prices than others and routinely added services to customers' contracts without their consent. MasterCard is reducing its global headcount by 3%. The cuts would impact around 1,000 people based on the most recent data on the company's workforce. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
Year-long inquiry by Republicans stopped short of alleging any criminal wrongdoing by the president. Instead, the almost 300-page report covers familiar ground, asserting the Biden family traded on its, quote, brand and business ventures in corrupt ways that rises to the Constitution's high bar for impeachment. With Biden no longer running for re-election, next stops are highly uncertain. House Republicans have not had support from their own ranks to actually impeach the president, and removal by the Senate is even further afield. Many Republicans prefer to focus attention on the Democratic Party's presumptive presidential nominee, Vice President Kamala Harris, with some probes getting underway. Ernie Bennett in Washington.
The Democratic National Convention getting underway today in Chicago. Town Hall News White House correspondent Greg Clugston is there.
Thousands of party delegates and Democratic faithful will hear from President Biden tonight, 4 weeks after his decision to end his re-election bid. He'll make the case for Vice President Harris as he steps away from the political spotlight. Other speakers this week include former Presidents Clinton and Obama. Vice presidential hopeful Tim Walz will speak on Wednesday night ahead of Kamala Harris's formal acceptance of the presidential nomination on Thursday. Greg Clugston, Chicago.
Former New York Congressman George Santos due in court today, expected to plead guilty to multiple counts in his federal fraud case. Secretary of State Blinken back in the Mideast. He's trying to finalize a Gaza ceasefire deal and an exchange of hostages, meeting with high-ranking Israeli officials today in Tel Aviv. Tomorrow, he heads to Egypt. Pioneering daytime TV talk host Phil Donahue has died. He was 88. On Wall Street this morning, a check of stocks finds the Dow trading in 115 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
The work of a popular British street artist has been removed from public view for its own protection.
The London Zoo has removed Banksy's gorilla mural from its entrance gate. The painting was the final animal-themed work by the elusive street artist that appeared over 9 consecutive days around London. The work, spray-painted with a stencil, showed an ape holding up part of the roll-down gate, allowing birds to fly off and a sea lion to waddle away, as 3 sets of eyes peered out from the darkness inside. Rika Ann Garcia, London.
U.S. and South Korean troops have begun a large-scale exercise aimed at strengthening their defense capabilities against nuclear-armed North Korea. Pyongyang once again accusing the allies of practicing for an invasion. The annual summertime exercise comes amid heightened tension on the Korean peninsula. The pace of North Korea's weapons testing has accelerated. Townhall.com. Well, if you haven't heard the term over-tourism before, you will. Right now, in fact.
To be visited during the summer of over-tourism in 2024 means traffic jams, water problems, and high housing prices. It's the first year in which tourism is expected to beat records set before the pandemic. Despite well-publicized protests and some drunken tourist behavior, residents and analysts don't necessarily blame the travelers. They say it's more a matter of crowd and economic management. Many hotspots have responded. Portugal has limited its residents by investment visa program. Lisbon is curbing tuk-tuk scooters. Amsterdam has broadened its stay away campaign. And Japan has put up a screen to stop people from flooding a parking lot to take selfies of Mount Fuji. Ron Taylor reporting.
Ernesto's regained hurricane status as the storm churns away from Bermuda, heads farther out into the northeastern Atlantic Ocean. More on these stories, townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel and what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
Here goes Deuce.
Of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell Talk FM. Happy Monday. Monday, first day of the week. It's going to be hot all week. One hot all week long.
Moon Day.
It is.
Which, by the way, did you see the moon this morning?
I did not.
It was right as I was getting the kids in the car and we were, getting ready to head out for the morning. It was just before 6 o'clock. It was like 5:54.
Okay.
The moon was setting in the west. Like it was like on the horizon and it was huge. I'm not sure if we're in a blue moon or a harvest moon.
I have no idea. I'm not.
But it looked like a dimmer sun was setting. It was the coolest thing I think I've ever seen. To the point where I stopped the kids. I was like, "Look, kids, are you catching all this plight?"
Is this kind of the Bruce Almighty where he lassoed
It
the
was.
moon and
It
reels
was
it in?
huge. Okay, here's an obscure reference. If you've ever played the game Grand Theft Auto Vice City,
I have.
Did you know that if you shoot the moon, it gets bigger?
I didn't, but
You can shoot
maybe I
the
did
moon
then.
and it goes until the biggest it can be, and then it goes and it's tiny.
Maybe I
again.
knew it when I played it, and then I've forgotten. since
So
then, I don't know,
it
but
looks like the maxed out shot moon on Grand Theft Auto
that
Vice
does not
City.
work in real life. Please do not.
No,
try
don't
that.
shoot the moon in real life, please.
Gotta put that
I
disclaimer
know it's a
out there.
real catchy phrase, but don't shoot the moon.
Yeah, not literally.
Mhm.
It's a figure of speech. But yeah, I got to put that disclaimer out there. But happy Monday. Oh, you know what I did? On Friday night, I watched the Bananas game on True TV.
See, I missed that one.
Yeah, it was entertaining. You can tell that what they're doing is they're basically putting the stream that they stream on the internet, and they just put that on True TV. Now, that being said, they made it specific for True TV because there was commercial breaks, and they actually added a feature which I don't think you get on the streaming side because they don't really play for a TV audience; they're playing for a live audience.
Right.
But since they were now playing for, they had actually mic'd up players.
Oh,
and so like the announcers are talking to the pitcher as he's pitching, or and it's kind of interesting. And of course they're explaining the whole banana ball because the rules are different, and because how they score, it's different. You win the innings by scoring more runs in the inning, and then you get a point.
Right.
So you could have 57 runs in an inning, but if the other team has 58, you lose, and you get a point. The only time the each run counts individually is in the final inning. It's the 2-hour time limit, so they explain that, and then they explained about foul balls. If they're caught by the crowd, person's out.
Nice.
I mean, if it's caught by a player, they're out.
Right.
But say it pops up and the actual fan catches it, that guy's out too.
Awesome. It involves the spectators.
Well,
which
and then there's
I
a
like.
play, and I can't remember what triggers it, but it's something in the field where if they hit it and somebody does something, everybody on the defense has to touch the ball before they can advance it. And so they've got this whole play, and it happens a couple times where the banana guys, and so everyone comes running in. They're like, doot, tossing the ball, and then they almost get the guy out doing this. But but it's a banana ball roll.
That's bananas. That's a bonanza ball is what it sounds
Now,
like.
Does it translate on TV? Yes and no.
Okay.
Like, yes, in terms of entertainment and stuff, you lose the atmosphere of the environment.
Sure.
You can kind of hear.
Yeah, when you're at the game, there's nothing better than that.
Yeah. Like they play music throughout. I'm not talking in between batters. I'm talking the entire game.
Right.
There's music going, and it's all the crowd starts singing, especially when, weirdly enough, Bon Jovi songs hit. There's a few that trigger the audience, and it's because it happened in Albuquerque. It happened when they were in Norfolk, Virginia, what they were showing on Friday night, and so you miss that to a point. I mean, you can kind of hear it, but when you're in it, it's way different. Plus, while the game is going on, there's players like outside of the dugout just kind of doing stuff, and you miss that aspect of it. So there's
a lot going on, and it's kind of hard for one camera to catch all the action. You'd have to have almost like a multi-view screen, a multi-screen, which I would say would behoove them to do that in the future. Maybe set like the main shot in the middle of the screen. Here's what's happening over at the dugout in case you want to see that.
Right.
Here's some craziness happening in the concession stand.
But you also get the sense too. And this is the part that I did like when you watch it on TV is they're playing real baseball here. Like, yes, the rules are a little different, it's a little goofy, and there's a lot of dancing and music and entertainment value to it. But these are ball players playing baseball, and they're still good. Like and they do like tricks. Like that's half the thing is they just don't catch a pop fly.
Right.
They got to like catch it with their hat or catch it behind their back or do something. And I think they get like bonus points for doing these kinds of things.
Sure.
That's part of it. And so, but in between that's real baseball and real strategy and real, it's just neat to watch.
I just picture like the commissioner of Banana Ball.
Yeah.
Like standing in the shadows outside of like a circus, just like right as like the circus is dispersing, all the freaks are coming back to their trailers. He's standing there with a metal cigarette case, and he closes it, taps his cigarette, lights it up, and says, "Who doesn't want to do this anymore? You got a talent? Want to go play baseball?" Like, I feel like that's what he's bringing, what they're bringing.
It's a little of that, yeah. Of course, you've seen the commissioner, the guy. He's the guy in the banana tuxedo with the top hat. That's
right.
him. He's the owner of the
So
team.
he's standing there in full banana scarf with the top hat.
He's banana
tapping
ball,
the cigarette.
and he's that whole thing. And so yeah, it's him and his wife. They're the owners of the Savannah Bananas and the whole Banana Ball brand.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, they have a charity organization that's attached to it that his wife runs that has a unique name as well too. Bananas Foster, and it's for foster
kids.
Yes,
that's awesome.
And of course they do in the game. They talk about their Bananas Foster program, and usually
delicious.
whenever they're in a city, they raise a portion of the money and it goes to foster programs in that city.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so they do the Bananas Foster. And
This is kind of off topic, but just real quick. I was reminded of something over the weekend.
Uh-huh.
I requested and got a cake that Missy made. It was key lime pie was the flavor.
Yes,
key lime
we talked
cake.
about key lime on Friday, I think, or last week.
It's now come to my attention. That's an old person flavor.
Oh, it's a Florida.
It's an old person flavor. Like, a bunch of the young people at the party were like, "This is kind of an old flavor, don't you think?" I'm like, "Oh no, I've officially transitioned into old person flavors."
You know what it is? I think it's fallen out of trend. And what I mean by that is, back when we grew up, because it's kind of let's face it, it's a bit of an exotic fruit, the key lime. I mean, It's not, but it is. I mean, modern technology allowed everybody to have it, but for a time you could only get it in a certain part of the country. That being said,
yes.
I think, okay, Elliot's on his way, and it's only him today. So just only got that text. But I think part of that, part of the deal is that that now we've just got way sexier sounding fruits.
That's true.
And key lime just isn't resonating with younger people. They want things like jackfruit and
they're into Marion berries.
Yeah, and these all exotic
huckleberries.
I think most of them originate from Asia. I don't know, but most of these. I think that's what people. And so key lime is just like, oh, that's all boomer, okay, boomer. I think that's what they look at.
I've moved into boomer flavors.
Hey, youngins, put your mouth hole on some key lime pie and tell me you can boomer it all you want. Don't tell me you ain't eating that.
I'm telling you. It's a delicacy. Anyways, digression over. So banana ball.
Yeah.
So no, you just mentioned dessert foods, and it just got my mind racing. But yeah, no, I'm definitely going to check it out this Friday.
Well, good news is
really excited.
They got 4 more Fridays.
Yep.
They're going to be on True TV.
I get the feeling this is going to be something they expand into,
I hope so.
into the future.
And in all fairness, what else has True TV got right now?
Yeah,
they don't even have Impractical Jokers.
I know. I was going to say that.
All the new ones are on another channel. They got all the reruns. By the way, I learned yesterday that I'm about half a season into Snowpiercer, the new season of Snowpiercer, and I missed them. I was like watching TV and they were showing that thing. I was like, "There's a new Snowpiercer." Like, when did they move it? It used to be on USA.
Oh, it was on TNT. I thought
it used to. Well, now it's on AMC.
Really?
Yeah. Snowpiercer's on AMC now. The new season's on AMC.
I think it's bounced all around because it was on TNT for
I remember
a
it
minute.
on USA Network.
It was on USA for probably a minute, but I think it was on TNT.
But I think USA and TNT, aren't they
It's
all
not the same
Universal?
company,
No?
No, Turner owns TNT and USA is Viacom.
Which is under NBC Universal.
Yes.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so it's now on AMC.
Well, now you got something to catch up on.
Yeah, problem is I can only watch AMC stuff, catch up on my actual satellite. I don't have AMC Plus. And
There's no workaround via your stick?
Maybe. I haven't delved that deep into that kind of there's like a live TV section of that, and then there's a movie plex.
You forget that AMC has its own streaming service.
It does, AMC Plus, and they're very locked down on it. Like if you want to watch old Walking Dead and all, you really can't unless you have AMC Plus, or if you have a direct satellite provider or something that they may have it on their on-demand.
Do you think they're so locked down and so mad about it because they don't have Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul?
Maybe, but some of that ends up on Netflix, and that's where I'm surprised HBO Max or somebody hasn't bought them up and said, just put your stuff on our stuff. You know what I mean? Or
they haven't
Hulu
merged yet.
Or somebody, Like I think if you have Hulu, you can buy the add-on or something like that. Like Hulu allows you to, you can add the
the HBO package. You can add the AMC Plus package.
Yeah.
You know, you can add the Paramount Plus
Yeah,
package.
Prime is good with that. That's one thing I like about Prime. Is
well, that's how my Paramount Plus is through Prime. Because when I got it, I was not knowing. I just didn't know. I was like, I just Plus is Plus.
I did the same thing through YouTube. So my Paramount Plus is through YouTube.
So like I can't even use the Paramount Plus app because my passwords don't work. I have to physically go through my Amazon Prime, use the Paramount Plus channel to access all the Paramount. Now I can.
Which it's all there, but it's just different networks.
Which, by the way, at least I don't think here yet. No, right. He's on the way. By the way, all you Taylor Sheridan fans, or whatever his name is, season 2 of Tulsa King is coming up here like September 1 or something like that.
It's finna get underway.
Well, and we're now seeing the last. I think we're starting to see the last of the writer/actor strike blowback. Because if you watch on Sunday nights, season 1 of Tulsa King, they've been showing at 7:00 at night. Weirdly enough, before Big Brother, which if y'all watch Tulsa King, you might want to flip that a little bit. I'm just saying, maybe put it on an hour later. Some of it's not kid friendly.
It's not. Well, yeah.
It's just saying. More so than Big Brother, if that's possible. But anyway, that show I like it less as the older I get because the people get younger and they get stupider. like I don't relate to the people no more. They're
not getting younger. You're just getting older.
Yeah, but
they stay the same age. But that's the problem.
But here's the weird part. They always sprinkle in a few 40, 50 somethings in there, and they're all idiots too. Like there's one lady in there that I think's actually older than me, and she's a straight up doofus. But anyway, season 2 of Tulsa King.
You also have to remember these are Simple Mountain folk,
Some are. Some are just looking for attention dollars. Sure. Some are thinking that they're going to get famous doing this. But it's like, how do I make myself look more stereotypical about those things? I know I'm going to go on national TV and act like an idiot, and that's what some of these people do. And I'm just like, do you act like this at home? Because, and I get it's a game, and you lie and you do things. Like the one lady that's older, she's having blow-ups, like the Karen like drama queen blow-ups, and you're just
and I would say that a lot of it's what the producers want to show, but honestly, since it's the 24-hour format, these people are just playing it up to be
they edit later.
They're playing it up so that they could be the one with the spotlight.
By the way, I'm still wondering what percentage of like Big Brother fans actually sit and watch the 24/7 stream.
It's got to be out there or they wouldn't do it anymore.
I mean, yeah, it's there. Now, granted, back in the day, it was like a premium service. Like you paid CBS, and I remember my mother-in-law and my wife, they were all buying this stuff, and because I was like, really, you're paying? And to be honest, I think they all watched maybe 13 minutes of it. The concept, the novelty of having it, but actually watching it's another thing. Now they pretty much slap it on free on pretty much every stream. You can go to Paramount, Amazon. Shoot, I even think if you buy a smart TV and you go in there, log in, it says you've got 512 free digital channels. A couple of them are Big Brother streams.
Nice. It's honestly the people who run like the blogs or who run like the internet Big Brother community, so to speak, that have to keep people informed. This just in, such and such dropped their napkin. Keeping you up to date.
Here's the thing. I'm entertained by Big Brother for the hour, whatever. Watching the live stream is boring. It's literally watching people live their lives, but they're stuck in a house and can't live their lives. So they're literally sitting around, farting, scratching, eating, talking, doing stupid jokes, dressing up in various ways to entertain themselves, doing stupid games to entertain themselves.
And that's the other thing is they don't have the distractions that we have. We'd probably all be dumb idiots if we didn't have our
because they don't have TV. They don't have books. I think they get like rewards where they can listen to music, like on MP3s or something. Like I think the only book they get is literally Bible or a holy book, and then that's it. I mean, they don't. And the rest is each other. I mean, I think now in the house, no, get me wrong, they're living. They feed them very well.
Oh, sure.
They eat. They have a pool. They
have
usually
a
have
full
a hot tub,
stocked bar.
Yeah, grill.
And that all lends itself to
pool tables and ping pong tables.
They want social interaction situations. the bar. They want you to get hammered, so you say silly things.
I don't think they mess with the bar stuff so much anymore. Like I haven't really seen them talk about drinking or seen them drinking in years. I don't know if they just don't let them drink.
That could just be The Bachelor, though, because The Bachelor, they tend to devolve into some debauchery.
Like used to, that was the thing. Like, ooh, they stocked the pantry, and they'd be all excited because there's booze in the pantry. They haven't, either they edit all that out so you don't see it on the show, or they just pulled the booze.
I say it doesn't cause the drama that it should, or else they'd keep it up.
Well, and there's another thing I noticed too is no one smokes or vapes or anything anymore. Like you watch the early
I'm pretty
seasons,
sure that is because that's not allowed. Like you're not allowed to depict that on TV anymore.
Yeah, but the early seasons, like the first 10, 15, they'd be outside and they'd show them smoking and whatever. If they're out on the, quote unquote outside there, which is inside the studio, but outside,
right.
You can see the sky. They would smoke and stuff out there. And now I think they had to like bring with them whatever they had. Like they weren't, hey, I need another case of smoke. Go pound sand. You didn't bring it, you don't get it no more. But I think like if they packed it, they let them. Now I don't know how that is now because I never see it anymore. But I remember back in the day,
Pack up. This is my Coke. I brought this.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they let them do the narcotic.
Well, you said if they bring it, you let them keep it.
But cigarettes. I wonder how they do with the cannabis because cannabis has been legal in California for
now. I mean, now like the last couple of years.
People. But theoretically, if they have a medical card, you can't stop them, right?
I would think
maybe they can't smoke it, but they give them pills or something.
If somebody's dependent to that level, they're just not going to be a contestant.
Maybe
they just won't choose them. Yeah,
you're out. You're out ski. But I'm thinking, I mean, if you do, although technically, isn't that discrimination against?
Well, I mean, you're the producer. You're going to get 1,000 tapes. You're not going to take 1,000 people. You got to pick and choose.
But you just can't tell people that's why you didn't pick them.
Exactly.
But that's why you didn't pick.
Yeah. Not saying that's the only reason.
But if they physically told the person, "We love you, but you can't be on the show because you smoke weed, and we can't let you smoke weed," then they would probably, and they have they're medically licensed to do it. I mean, I'm just saying they're potheads. That they're
if it's like a rec thing, then no. But if it was like if somebody has like leukemia and they have a prescription.
Granted, but these people that have leukemia or Alzheimer's or Parkinson's or some of the things that they're finding it, probably, like you said, are not getting on the show. It's like, no, it's not the weed thing. It's because you have Parkinson's. I mean, maybe. Yeah. But anyway, I just been the last couple seasons, I just end up more mad than anything because it's just like
you've fallen out of favor with it. It's the same thing with me and Survivor. I watched for this last season. I watched the first 2 or 3 episodes religiously.
Yeah.
But eventually, I'm just like, I'm just not. I don't care anymore.
And they're trying so hard on that show to bring people back. Like I haven't watched Survivor in years. I used to like it. I watched it back when the rest of America. Yeah. But somewhere around 10 years ago, I stopped.
Right.
This same trope. Tired of it.
Well, yeah, and they're adding all these new things.
But that's what I've noticed. Like
the coins.
The commercials. I'll see the commercials, and it's like bigger and better than ever. We've added this. Now there's a flying trapeze, and we have.
Right.
You know what? We start them by starving them first. We don't let them eat 2 weeks before they even get to the island now, or whatever it is. They
each survivor has a coin, and if they get voted off, they can give their coin to someone else. And it's like, if you have a certain number of coins, it gives you you can buy immunity, you can buy food item, things like that.
Okay.
So, based on how many coins you've accrued,
that seems cheating.
It's
now it's turning into prison.
It's Hunger Games
commissary money and all this, and they think they're going to be jumping each other for their commissary coins.
But it's like if you're getting voted out, you're like, well, I'm going to bequeath my coin to Taylor.
Well, just call this outdoor prison now.
Right.
What was that movie? The one with Kevin Dillon.
Oh, God. That's obscure.
The one where they're on the island, No Escape or something. I think Ray Liotta's in it. It's like Ray Liotta and Kevin Dillon, and they're like prisoners or something on an island, and they get to do whatever they want, but they can't leave the island. They leave the island, their head blows up or something. I can't remember. It was something like that. I think Survivor's turned into that.
No Escape.
No Escape. I nailed it. Boom. It's good to be old sometimes.
Yeah,
you remember weird, obscure things like this.
That sounded like a bunch of different movies amalgamated together.
It probably was, because there's probably 10 other movies that begats that.
I mean, come on, it's Ray Liotta and Kevin Dillon. I mean, even in that time, Kevin Dillon was not Kevin. You know what I mean? It's not Matt Dillon. It's Kevin Dillon.
I watched a good portion of a movie that I had never heard of, never seen before. But when I was in Las Cruces, Ayana suggested it. We actually sat and watched it on Freevee or Tubi or one of those.
Okay.
Unlawful Entry.
That sounds familiar.
1992, starring Ray Liotta. This is what just reminded me, and Kurt Russell.
Okay, that's
basically Ray Liotta is a police officer, and there's a break-in at the beginning of this movie in these people's house. Ray Liotta helps install this massive security system, but over the course of the movie becomes obsessed with the wife, with Kurt Russell's wife, and it's just sort of like him working his way in, and who are you going to call? The police? I didn't actually get to see the end of it. Way to leave, but
there was a whole genre of those kind of movies around that time, because if I remember right, that's right around the Cape Fear time, and that there was like a Mark Wahlberg creeper film right around that time.
I think that was it was when a lot of actors were getting 3 picture deals.
Yeah,
like, well, we got one more.
Yeah, well, and this was also the era where Tombstone comes out, and then Wyatt Earp comes out a month later, and then there's Volcano, and then there's Dante's Peak, or vice versa, or whatever it is. So anyway. Elliot's here, so we probably need to get the hour going here. Elliot Rodriguez with Loan Depot will join us here in just a minute. As he does each month, talk, I'm going to say it, sage advice when it comes to purchasing homes. He's the guy you see to procure your financing before you do. So we'll talk with Elliot here. Before we do that, though, let's take a quick commercial break. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters right here on 106.5 Roswell Talk FM. We'll be back.
Being called a fox in your marriage might not always be a good thing. Hi, this is Pastor Troy and my wife, Miss Julie, for the Joy of Marriage.
In Song of Solomon, it says, "Catch all the foxes, those little foxes, before they ruin the vineyard of love." I looked up the word fox, and it means cunning, achieving one's goal by deceit or evasion. A female fox is a vixen, which is spiteful or a combative woman.
Those little things we do to try to get our way can ruin our marriages. Try just being honest and talking through the situation. Do what's best for your marriage, not just for yourself. When Julie and I learned to choose to do what's right instead of trying to be right, our marriage turned around. You will find marriage is so much better when we work together.
If you have any questions or would like further information about the Joy of Marriage Ministry, please go to jomconference.com.
A good night's sleep is so important, and issues like sleep apnea make falling asleep and staying asleep nearly impossible, but we can help. I'm Dr. Sarah Usher at Carabelli Dental. With the help of a simple oral appliance, your sleepless nights could be a thing of the past. But don't take my word for it, just ask Lainey.
My name is Lainey Smith. I wasn't surprised when I found out I had sleep apnea simply because I had a horrible sleep pattern. I attempted to use the machine and it drove me nuts and I could not sleep with it. And then that's when Dr. Agar told me about the oral appliance. I would suspect I've been using it for 2 years now. In all of that time, I've had less than 10 poor nights of sleep. It's a complete game changer. I feel a lot better because I sleep.
This simple appliance can change your life. Call us today to set up your appointment so you can finally get the good night's sleep you need.
Come see the team at Carabelli Dental at the corner of 9th and Main in Roswell, or call 575-622-4455.
So your trees are turning yellow. You scratch your head and think to yourself, what would Jim Gill do?
This is Shirley from Roswell Seed. If Jim were here, he'd tell you all about something he called monkey blood. It's a powder that turns a deep red when you mix it with water. You pour it on the ground under your tree's drip line, and in a few weeks, they'll be healthy and green once again.
So when things aren't green, just ask yourself, what would Jim Gill do? Then head down to Roswell Seed Company and find out.
Artesia General Hospital has welcomed cardiologist Luther Weathers to the team. Dr. Weathers is board certified with a subspecialty in cardiovascular diseases. He treats patients with genetic heart defects, heart rhythm disorders, heart failure, coronary artery disease, chronic high blood pressure, and other cardiovascular diseases. Call 575-736-8270 to schedule your visit with Dr. Weathers in Artesia, or visit artesiageneral.com/cardio appointment. Se habla Espanol.
The perfect pair of glasses is a lot closer than you think. The Eyesight in Roswell, Carlsbad, and Hobbs is now accepting new patients 5 and up. The Eyesight accepts all VSP vision plans for full contact lens and glasses, as well as Medicare, Davis, and more. Designer frames from Maui Gyms, Oakley, and so much more. The Eyesight in Roswell, Carlsbad, and Hobbs offers complete eye care, including pre- and post-cataract and LASIK, as well as glaucoma testing. The perfect pair is waiting for you at the Eyesight in Roswell, Carlsbad, or Hobbs. Clearly the best in sight. Carlsbad Chevrolet is saying so long summer during the pre-Labor Day sales event with great deals across the lot on a great selection of new vehicles like a 2024 Chevy Equinox LT just $289 a month, and pre-owned vehicles like a 2020 Volkswagen Tiguan just $369 a month. Get earbuds or a smartwatch just for stopping by, a movie snack pack with a test drive, and a popcorn machine with purchase. And sign up to win a 75-inch Samsung TV to be given away Saturday, August 24th during the pre-Labor Day bash at Carlsbad Chevrolet, 2155 South Canal.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. China has more English speakers than the United States. They have more Chinese speakers, too. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 8:32, and joining us in studio this morning, back from Lone Depot, Elliot Rodriguez with us. Good morning.
Good morning, Roswell.
How are you doing today?
We're doing good. It's beautiful outside, nice and bright, not windy.
Yeah?
You know, hopefully it's going to be hot today. That's what I've known.
But, now, for folks not familiar, Elliot joins us on the radio here once a month, and he's the loan officer side, financial side of when you're procuring your home. Actually, if you're thinking about going to purchase your home, whether it's your first one or your fifth one, Elliot's the guy you see first to see, okay, how much do you qualify for? What can you comfortably do? And then he'll give you a number, and then you can go shopping and say, okay, with this number I can do this. And so that and so if you want to have the fun part, you need to talk to Elliot first to know exactly how much fun you can have.
And that is an understatement right there. Yeah, folks, if you come see me and I tell you a number, try to stay on those numbers.
Mm-hmm.
That's very important.
Well, and this is where Elliot, I think, separates himself from maybe some of his other peers in the industry here.
Mm-hmm.
Is Elliot, because let's face it, they're commission based. People make money off of me. That's how it is.
No matter what.
He lends you money, he makes money. That's how life works here. However, what Elliot does is he's honest and upfront with you and said, look, in theory, you're qualified for $300,000, but that's going to strap you financially. And if you don't want to have anything else, then go ahead and look for a $300,000 house. My suggestion to you is let's go look for a $200,000 house.
Yeah, 200, 250.
Yeah.
I mean, watch your budget.
Yeah.
But the fact is, guys, I mean, and the thing that is being difficult for everybody is that everybody has to push the limits because now the market is changing and the houses are still selling. There's not enough homes. There's homes that are a little, distressed, so they need a little help.
Sure.
And folks, we got what is called 203K, home mortgage purchases. That is a renovation loan. So that means you could buy any house. Okay. So,
and then make it perfect your way.
Exactly.
Afterwards.
Let's be honest. If you guys want a home that is $300,000, okay, and I get it, location is the big deal about real estate. I get all that.
Absolutely.
But what if you find a home that is, I don't know, 200 to 225 that needs a little love, okay?
Yeah. Or it has different counters than you like, or
and guess what? I can give you the money so you could fix it.
Yeah.
Make it as good as the $300,000 deal.
Yeah.
And maybe you just save yourself $50K, okay? So, I know, and I get it. It's difficult now.
And by the way, you'll get your money back when you turn around and sell this house, whether it's 5 years from now or whenever.
And I get it. There's not enough homes, so everybody's fighting for the houses that are available.
Absolutely.
So everybody's pushing the limits.
It is.
I get it.
It's a volatile market right now.
Yeah, it's a little crazy.
It is what it is, and that's because we live in a financially volatile world right now. In case you haven't heard, inflation's out through the roof. They're trying to. It's an election year, so now they're trying to polish the turd, but we all know what's going on.
I know. and talking about that, everybody's been talking. The rates are dropping. The rents are dropping. First of all, not so much, really, guys. Yeah. Let's put some facts on the table real quick for everybody out there listening, and pass it to your friends and relatives and all that. The fact of the matter is, the Feds and the stock market. Okay, depending on what's happening at any given day, every given week, the rates are going up and down, up and down, up and down. Have they been improving slowly and surely? Yes, they have. But The Feds have not done a cut on interest rates like the way that everybody's talking yet. Yes, they are pushing it because they're trying to control the system, see what happens, and they did the best they could the past couple years.
Trying to keep the water from boiling over. So
exactly.
Yeah.
So they done the best they can, but they have not dropped yet. So yes, the rates are getting better. So it's costing a little less. So to give a little learning, direction here. So for example, let's say you were getting a 7.5% or a 7% or a 6.5%, whatever interest rate you were getting, and let's say, for instance, it's costing in discount points. It means that's what it costs you to have the interest rate that you are getting. Let's say it's costing you $3,000. Okay, maybe it cost you $3,000 three months ago or so. Maybe now today it's costing $2,000. So yes, the market is going the right direction, but the rates are now truly, in fact, dropped. Okay, if you look at it nationally, yes, they're supposed to have dropped, but they haven't per se for every state, as far as like, over there is 6.5%, over there is 6%. There's no such a thing. Can some banks do a little better than some regular lenders? In some cases, but it depends what you're paying for and what is happening.
Sure.
Okay, and the program. So if you go to a bank or a lender and you ask them what rate you have, that is the wrong question to ask. The question to ask is, what do I qualify for and what can you do for me?
Sure.
Because
that answer is different for every person.
Exactly. Every situation is totally different. And the fact of the matter is, nobody really have better rates than others.
Sure.
It's the fact is what you have. Okay?
And correct me if I'm wrong here, but your circumstance can drastically affect that number. I'm talking 1 full percentage point and more.
Oh, big time. Let's put a scenario in place. Let's say somebody that, folks, by the way, I'm one of the only ones in town that can go as low as 520 credit score. But when you go that far down, that means something took place in your life.
You're a higher risk, therefore they're going to require more from you to allow you. That's the principle.
But the fact of the matter is that I'm one of the only ones. I probably am the only one that can go that low. So that means if you were thinking about buying a home and your credit score is a little low, doesn't mean you cannot buy a house. It means you have to put a little more, a little more into it. Sure. Okay, which is fine because when the rates get better and when your credit scores get better, you can refinance and get back into the game even better than everybody else.
Absolutely.
Sometimes.
It's no different than like health or anything else. If you haven't worked out in a while and then you go to work out, it's going to be a lot harder to do that. It's no different financially here. If you got buried in credit card debt and your credit scores dropping and you got your income to debt ratio is not looking good here, then yes, it's going to be harder to put you in a house. However, this is also how you fix those problems because you show the history in that house with the higher percentage rate that you're making the payments on time. Guess what goes down or guess what goes up?
Exactly.
Your credit score goes up.
Yeah, it works out that way.
Things start dropping off, and then that next thing you know, that 500 goes to 600, and then you're in the 700s.
I know.
And then you start writing your own ticket when you get into the 700.
Let me tell you, the one scenario that I always remember is when I was in Colorado Springs. And this is in 2006, 2007, okay? Right after the market went, went upside down and everything. I had folks that couldn't refinance, do anything with their home. They literally were talking about foreclosures and, bankruptcies and all kinds of stuff. I tell them, this is what you do. So, folks, if I tell you to do something, trust me, I'm telling you to do it for your own good and to make it better for you guys and make it happen for you. These folks listen to me, and I always remember these people because I almost feel like I took them like my parents, okay? And I love that because I like to help people. And they actually listen to me. Literally, folks, in 6 months, I was able to refinance their home. They decided to sell another property, okay, and do a bunch of things. And guess what? They were back to normal. They were back into retirement, moved, and everything. So the point is, if you do the right thing for yourself, trust me, you'll get there.
Sure. It's almost like, and this is where Elliot, and this goes back to what Elliot does, where I don't think other people in his field do as much per se. I'm not saying there's good people do good things.
No, they do.
But like when you turn on TV, particularly at night, late at night, and you're watching old reruns of something or another on there, and then you start watching these TV commercials for debt consolidation and all these. Elliot, in essence, is giving you that game plan that those people are giving you.
Correct.
But giving it to you in a plan low and of course his end game's to put you in a house or something where he's like, okay, but in essence he's doing the same thing as what these debt consolidator people do. Of course what they're doing is they're taking all your debt and saying, all right, we're going to lump it all together and then you're going to make one payment, and that's wonderful if you're disciplined. What happens most of the time is people do that. And then they accrue more debt, and now they're back.
And it's also if the scenario really calls for that. Because let me tell you something. I have many people come to me. I went to this, financial company. I went to this debt consideration company, and some of those companies, what they're doing is arming the creditors. That doesn't always work out in your best interest, because if they're doing that and they're not paying them, they're trying to make them settle and change some stuff. Now you went on default because now you're late. Now you're not paying what you're supposed to. And I'm not saying those companies don't work. I'm just saying that may not have been the right scenario for you to do at that moment if you're trying to buy a house.
Well, and this is it. Like, if you're not disciplined and got in that situation in the first place, you're ultimately going to have to be disciplined to get out of it. There's no two ways around
there's not an easy way out of it.
And so that is a great plan as long as you stay disciplined.
Correct.
That's the problem is it only works unless you stay disciplined. Because the moment you come off the plan, you're either going to go back to or be worse off than you were before.
And if you're planning to do something like that, you should come and you are thinking about buying a house, you should talk to somebody like me first.
Absolutely.
Because those things may not be the right move.
Sure. And they might actually hamper you getting a house.
It's very true. Because I have a lot of folks that did it.
Yeah.
And the credit score is worse. It's like if they would have come to me.
Sure. Depending on how they do it and what they do it may look like a bankruptcy or something on your credit. It may not that extreme, but it can negatively impact your credit score because they're saying, all right, you're having.
Oh, I get a lot of people coming, but I pay my credit cards. How come my credit score is lower?
It's way different now.
The fact is, guys, if you pay your credit card completely off, your credit score will drop first. That's just don't ask me. I'm translating Chinese.
Trust me, I see it all the time.
That's just the way it is.
Especially
credit is weird. Credit is weird.
Like if you have a high credit score, and I'm not trying to brag or anything, but since I've been married an adult and stuff, I'm upper 700s, 800s.
Oh, because you're watching what you're doing now.
Yeah, exactly. But that being said, I've had it where like we paid off a card or a car payment gets, and next thing you know, I'm like, wait a minute, I was 816. Why am I 780 now? And it's because it's weird, but put it this way: if you're older folks. How they judged your credit score back in the 70s, 80s is not the same in how they do
Everything
it
have
in
changed.
the 2000s
Everything have changed.
and recently.
And let me tell you, folks, anybody that comes to me, and they got bad credit, and they act like they don't have credit, trust me, you have bad credit because you're the one that buys the stuff.
You've been told no before.
You're the one that buys the stuff. You're the one that might maybe not paying it.
People with bad credit have tried things and been told no. I'm sorry. That's how. I'm not bad credit.
And I'm not here to judge anybody. Yeah. I'm here to help you.
We all been there.
I know. I've been there to educate you and help you. So don't be afraid of that.
When you're young, I'm not saying look. If you're prepared and you do it the right way every time, you're amazing. But this is sometimes how you learn lessons when you're young is yes, as parents and as people, guardians and things, we always try to raise our kids to avoid those.
Correct.
But but as human beings, you almost have to run through one or two of those.
They have to learn on their own. They have to learn on their own.
Humans got to learn the hard way. We just do sometimes. But what we're trying to say is, okay, learn it the hard way, but don't put yourself in a situation where we can't bail you out of it. You know what I mean? All right, if your credit gets jacked up, I get it. I had the same problem. I was 18. I joined the military, and oh boy, people want to give me stuff. I'll take it. Oh wait, I just got my first paycheck.
Maybe we need to work for the army and tell people to join.
Right? Because they'll give you loans.
Know.
Well, it happens. They give you loans. The next thing you know, I got $1,500 a month in payments and stuff going out, and then I get my first check. I'm like, I only got $900 coming in.
And let me tell you something. When I was in, I had to admit. Like all those federal military unions, credit unions, they actually try to teach you how to do stuff.
If you listen.
If you listen. Because when you're young and 21 and you just join the army, all you want to do is buy yourself a real nice, good-looking car.
There is a reason you go to buy a military installation, and there's always a half dozen payday loan establishments within a mile of that.
Because they know. That new guy's going to have a new girlfriend. He got uniforms. Now he all sharp. Now he's going to think he can take over the world kind of deal.
There's a
now, but folks, like I was saying, I'm probably one of the only lenders in the area that can go as low as 520. I hope you're not in that situation, but you are. Doesn't mean you cannot buy a home. It means you have to do a little more.
Sure.
But saying all that, if a person has like great credit, they have a little money put away, obviously they got even more chances to do even more programs.
Sure.
So the rates will probably be better for them, unfortunately, guys.
Absolutely.
That's just the way it is, unfortunately.
Well, and that's the incentive. And this is capitalism. It's, hey,
because
it inspires you to work hard.
Yeah, that's as bad as the government is, as bad as people think capitalism is not a good thing.
Yeah.
It just tells you if you do the right thing, you get to do more.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is.
Like video gaming or anything else. You play to the level,
And you
get more
get
stuff,
better,
you get
better.
higher points, and you start out better on the next
And you
level.
go to the next level.
Yeah, it's life's just like that.
As crazy as it sounds, that's just the way life is.
It really
Seriously,
is.
It really is.
In a nutshell, if you oversimplify everything, that's really what you're doing in navigating life, too.
If you listen to Mike and I once a month for all these years, that's one thing that we've been talking about.
Sure.
We started with a little something, and we did it a little better, and a little better, and a little better.
It's just the point that, because, and I hear it all the time, young people can't. No, you can. It is possible. There is a thing you're going to have to sacrifice, and everybody does it. All of us go through that period of life. Unless you were born with a billionaire parent, we all go through that part in life where you're going to the fixins bar at the fast food joint just to get a salad. You know what I'm saying? We're all
let's put it this way.
We've all done these things.
Last year and the year before, I think I did a lot of loans for some young people, like 18 and 19-year-old. It's like, damn, Elliot, that's just so wrong. No, I wish I would have bought my house when I was 18 and 19.
Sure.
My very first house. I wish I
Hindsight's
had.
2020. Yeah,
Oh,
and they tell
my
us, and we all
God.
like, whatever. I've got,
people tell me, buy a house.
Well,
I
that's what
wasn't
you're thinking
even
about,
listening.
settling down at 18.
Oh, not even
Yeah.
close.
Yeah.
I was so crazy, stupid, in love and everything, but still didn't even thought about buying a house.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something, folks. Those kids that bought a home at 18 and 19 years old, they are a few steps ahead of all of us.
Well, that's
seriously.
when you go into that nice neighborhood, and they're all got and then most of the people are like guys in their 50s, families of 50s, 60s.
And you see a few
doctors,
families
lawyers,
that are super young.
and then you see a 28-year-old living in the same. Like, what happened? They're the ones that are smart. And you're thinking, oh, they must have a startup. They must have a .com startup.
No, I hear
or,
you.
like, no, they just literally they have parents that thought, and they make good money as a job, but they are way farther ahead on the timeline of where than most people.
Let's put it like this, folks. There's been a few jobs that came across my table that I was like, hey, how do you get to that? Because I think I should have done that when I was younger. Let me tell you, folks, I'm very busy, okay? So I'm taking care of so many people that is, my new word is crazy stupid, okay? That's my new word. Because everything is going out of overboard. It's crazy. It's a good problem, but it's what is happening.
Absolutely,
okay.
yeah.
And I love it because I think I can help a lot of people, but it's stupid crazy because so many stuff is happening. But folks, if you do the right thing, you'll be in the right place later.
Well, that's where you talk to Elliot. This is where and this is I'm trying to explain that difference to you. It's and this is where Elliot does it. This is why Elliot likes working with first time home buyers and people, because he loves to educate the people. Let's face it, and here's the thing too. Even if you come in educated, and Elliot can work with you too, say that's great, that's an awesome thing. We could do that.
Actually, yeah, it makes it easier.
But you know what? I've got a thing that's just like that, but it's going to allow you to do this, this, and this.
Exactly.
And that's where Ellie could say, good, I like what you're thinking here, but I got a program here that's just like that.
You'd
but
be
it also
surprised.
adds this, and this to it, too.
All the time it happens.
Yeah.
I'm like, I wanted to do this, I want to do that. You know what? That is awesome.
Yeah.
What about you put that together you're talking about with this?
Sure.
And you could do better.
I got your vision. Let me enhance it
and
for
folks, when people do all those trainings, the first thing I ask them, do you learn anything?
Yeah.
And they look at me, why he's asking me this? Because that means I want to know if when you took it, you pay attention. And they say like, yes. So now everything I'm telling you is falling down, right? With how that training talked to you, right? And they say, yes. It's like, that's the whole point.
Sure.
I want you to be better off that when you buy your first home, and when you're ready to buy the next one, it's even more smooth.
Sure.
And I say it all the time. A lot of people are like, buying a house is a stressful thing. Okay, I'm not going to take that away from anybody.
The most money most people spend in their entire life is when they buy a house.
And folks, I'm probably the most stressed than you guys and me. So, because I'm the one who had to answer to you and make sure it's happening for you.
Well, yeah, because you make a lot of statements, and you got to back them up. And if they don't happen,
you ain't lying. I had a guy saying, but you told me that I can get a house. Like, But you changed my whole scenario.
Right.
Okay.
If you did this,
if you did all this,
that messed up the
so
plan.
he was even mad for a minute. I even got a phone call, after like 5 minutes, apologizing to me. I still got in the house, and I believe that they're going to be one of the most grateful people because they were super happy.
Sure.
And
I bet some of your best customers are the ones that you had the tumultuous.
Yeah, they went a little
experience.
crazy for a minute. Yeah. But you know why? Because it happens. Even though, let me tell you something. I tell people, no new credit, no new financial changes unless you run it through me.
Sure.
Okay. Do not, please. Okay. Save every money you have.
And that's just it. Everything, anytime something is,
and they still do
something
the
as simple
thing.
as walking into the phone store and getting a new phone can completely mess up your entire loan application process.
I know.
Something as simple as that can mess it up.
Yeah, it's just like you talking.
Regardless of your credit, by the way.
That's very true. So
Yeah.
it's like talking to your kids. Like if I was talking to a teenager of mine or something like that, and I tell you, when you go to play basketball, when you go to the swimming pool, don't do it like this. But they still end up doing it the other way instead, because people in their nature, they're going to do what they're going to do.
Younger, we're bullheaded until you do it wrong a few times. If I was maybe
I
listen
know,
to that
right?
person.
No, but you know what, folks? Don't be afraid of buying a home. If you want to buy a home, you have to come to me and talk to, because the fact is, you're still paying rent or living with family. You still need a place to
The
live.
sooner you get into the game, the better you're setting yourself up down the road.
We talked about this.
Yeah.
When is the best time to buy a house?
Yeah.
The best time to buy a house, folks, is now.
I would.
It don't matter what's happening in the market.
Like if you're young out there and you're, graduating from college and you haven't started the family portion yet, maybe start the house portion and insert the family later. Because now you're in the game, regardless if you're buying a 1-bedroom home or a 2-bedroom, and then life happens, but you're in the game and you're not, because you're going to be paying rent in an apartment
Talking about
or
that.
something like that. Go ahead and buy that house and live it and do your thing until you find the family that you want to put in it.
I had a guy that we closed like a couple weeks ago, and he's not married, but a nice house, okay? And he's talking about getting married. And I was like, well, but just remember, when you get married, your house becomes hers just the same.
Yeah, you lose all decorating
And his
privileges.
whole face changed. He's like, what do you mean? It's like, New Mexico is funny. If you marry, what is yours, and what is yours is hers.
Guys, I'm telling you right now, you own your home, and then you meet your girlfriend and turns into your wife, and now your family.
The house is hers too.
She is not going to put up with your Dallas Cowboys, Dallas Mavericks, and various other sports memorabilia that
So you better hope
consider
she likes the Cowboys. So you better hope she likes the Cowboys.
Yeah.
No, the point is, guys, it's just the way it is. But you know what? Do not be afraid of buying a home. It's the main thing we've been saying for years.
Right.
Because you need a place to live.
That's right.
And let's be honest, living with mom and dad is okay for some time, but not forever,
Sure.
And you don't have no independence yet. And let's be honest, you cannot throw the parties that you want to throw if you...
Well, and more,
But-
if you do it that way, the more
I know.
opportunities open. And if you start young, right out of college, you're buying your first home and you're single and you got it, guess what? Then you meet the family and you're like, we need a bigger house. Oh, we got all kinds of equity built up here. Our first home's going to be way nicer than most people's first home.
And if you bought a house like a year ago, whatever, soon you're going to be able to refinance it. Okay?
Absolutely.
That's where it's going.
Sure.
And it's going to happen sooner or later.
What comes up must come down. What goes down must come up.
And that is
Oh,
the truth.
God.
That's the true fact. And folks, we have in Roswell, Loan Depot. Mike can tell you about this. We're one of the largest company in the United States, folks. That's not a joke. It's not. I'm not making it up. It's one of the largest. That means we have pretty much every program that there is. And I'm also a broker now, because any program that I cannot do if outside the normal scope, I got partners that I can get you to help you buy the house too.
It's the big large market company that gives you opportunity because of their size. They can do things that others can't.
Correct.
But at the same time, small enough because it started grassroots with people that were basically pissed at the industry and started their own company basically. But so it gives the latitude to the local agent like Elliot here to do these things, but and get a little creative with stuff. But then when they need the big guns to do it, they can call up.
Because I have said it every single time.
It's the best of both worlds.
Yeah, exactly. I have said it every time. When I decided to leave and get to the new company, which I am right now, I was looking to a place that take the column off so I can actually do what I need to do for all of you folks out there. Okay. because I don't want to be able to, I want to start almost like Obama and don't leave nobody behind kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's true. I want everybody to get the opportunity to buy a house. And that's not an easy thing to do if you're in the wrong place. That doesn't allow you to do everything that you need to do.
Absolutely.
So I took my time to do my homework and choose the company that it was going to allow me to do that for you
Give you
folks.
the flexibility. And here it is.
Hey, there you go.
I just saw the time, so we've got to get. So call Elliot. Set up if you want to have an appointment to talk with him and sit down and let's go over your situation. Easy to do. You can reach him out directly on his cell. Call him at 719-237-4680. Again, 719-237-4680. Or if you want to call the office, leave a voicemail if he's not there. 505-445-2070. 505-445-2070. And of course, you can do all this online too. You go to his website. If you go to www.loandepot.com/Elliot Rodriguez, all one word, one L in Elliot, and then the Z at the end for Rodriguez. And then you go, that's his website. You can look at all the Loan Depot stuff, but then Elliot's track record, history, what he does, and everything else. Or you can shoot him an email too. Same Elliot Rodriguez, all one word, one L, the Z at the end, at loandepot.com. You can shoot an email and he'll get back to you as soon as humanly possible.
Yeah, you can look it up on Facebook and you can see all the stuff I've been doing for years.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, you've been here years. You have great relationships with agents, everybody here. And so if you're looking for all that stuff, Elliot can even help you navigate through that too.
Yes.
So, good deal. Well, thank you, sir. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for having me.
And don't get too hot out there.
I know. Stay cool, guys.
That's
It's
right.
getting hot today, and for the rest of the week, it's going to be pretty hot.
May your AC unit work as well as you want it to today.
I know that sounds like one of those.
The best dish I can wish on somebody. 8:58, quick break before news. Don't go away.
Hey Roswell, summer's winding down, but the deals are still hot during the Make It Ford Summer Sales Event at the all-new Roswell Ford. Right now, get crazy low prices on all new Fords and quality pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs in stock. And top dollar for your trade. Stuck in your loan or lease? Roswell Ford wants to get you released, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth. So you can drive a new Ford or quality pre-owned vehicle for a lot less. For a limited time, get 0% APR and $1,900 in bonus cash on 2024 F-150 trucks. And make no payments for 90 days. Plus, we have a great selection of low-mileage, one-owner pre-owned vehicles, all in prime condition, starting at just $10,000. Don't settle for a low-quality, overpriced clunker. Buy a quality pre-owned vehicle from Roswell Ford for a lot less. Roswell Ford has partnered with the most aggressive lenders that will push to approve you today, even with bad or no credit. Lower prices, exceptional trade-in values, and a better buying experience. Get on board at Roswell Ford with new management and a whole new attitude. 821 North Main Street in beautiful Roswell, or online at roswellford.com. 0 APR for 36 months at $27.78 per thousand. Subject to lender approval through Ford credit. Offers not combined. Sale ends 9/2/24.
If you're missing a tooth or several teeth, a dental implant may be the ultimate solution. Implants look and feel so much like real teeth that you probably forget you have an implant. Maupin and Brown Dentistry is one of New Mexico's most experienced implant providers, with literally thousands of implant patients who are absolutely delighted with the results. Call Maupin and Brown today for an evaluation. You'll be surprised how affordable implants can be. Maupin and Brown, your choice for experienced, state-of-the-art dentistry.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. 47.2% of all statistics are made up on the spot. Is this true? I'd say chances are about 50%. Here's Mike Winters.
An investigation by House Republicans concludes that President Biden committed impeachable offenses. Newly released report by the House Oversight Committee says the Biden family was enriched by global influence peddling schemes and that Mr. Biden was aware of, benefited from, and participated in the schemes. In the past, the White House has dismissed such allegations as politically motivated. They hit the road on their way to the DNC.
Our country is going to be as strong as our willingness to fight for it.
Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris during a stop yesterday in Pennsylvania as she and running mate Tim Walz made their way by bus to the Democratic National Convention opening today in Chicago. And the Trump campaign will not be idle as the Democrats meet in Chicago. Town Hall News White House correspondent Greg Clugston is there.
Donald Trump and J.D. Vance will be busy going on offense every day this week as Democrats rally around Kamala Harris and Tim Walz here in Chicago. Battleground states will be the focus as the Republican presidential and vice presidential hopefuls will hold events in Pennsylvania, Michigan, North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada. The latest polls show Harris gaining ground in what is still an extremely close contest. Greg Clugston, Chicago.
Secretary of State Blinken is meeting with Israel's Prime Minister today as mediators say they are closing in on a deal to halt the war in Gaza and free the hostages captured by Hamas. Forecasters describe the flooding in southwestern Connecticut as a 1,000-year rain event. There have been high water rescues, mudslides, and roads closed. At least one death blamed on the severe weather in Connecticut. Watching Wall Street, the Dow is up 200 points. The Nasdaq ahead 59. The S&P is up 22 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Americans now have more credit card debt than at any time in history, owing a staggering $1.3 trillion collectively. What happens when most people can't pay their bills? Well, the U.S. economy is clearly moving into uncertain territory. That's why more Christians are turning to gold just for their peace of mind. I'm Lance Wallnow, Christian news analyst with a 30-year track record of predicting trends. The Bible tells us that gold is a time-tested store of value that can protect your God-given assets through almost anything, including America's historic debt bubble. And here's the good news. You can own gold through your 401k or IRA. My friends at Birch Gold Group can help you buy gold for your retirement account, tax-free and penalty-free. To learn more, text the word FAITH to 989898 for an info kit from Birch Gold that's entirely free, zero cost or obligation. Text that next step right now and take it. Text FAITH to the number 989898 for your free info kit. That's FAITH to 989898.
Chinese and Philippine Coast Guard ships have collided, an encounter near a new flashpoint in their increasingly alarming confrontations in the disputed South China Sea.
This is the latest in a series of dangerous encounters between Chinese and Philippine Coast Guard engaged in an unrelenting game of cat and mouse around the disputed Spratly Islands. China said a Philippine vessel had deliberately collided with its ship after ignoring repeated warnings. The Philippines said 2 of its ships were damaged by unlawful and aggressive maneuvers by Chinese Coast Guard near the Sabina Shoal. It said the vessels had been on their way to resupply Philippine personnel. Manila has been seeking to beef up its presence on the shoal, worried that China may be about to build yet another artificial island to bolster its internationally unrecognized claims on the area.
The BBC's Will Leonardo. The leaders of China and Vietnam pledging to further their economic ties, Vietnam's new president making his first visit to Beijing. News and analysis, townhall.com. An ex-New York congressman may be about to face the music.
George Santos, the former Republican congressman from New York, is due back in court today on Long Island and expected to plead guilty to multiple counts in his federal fraud case, according to a person who spoke to the Associated Press on condition of anonymity. The news comes just weeks before jury selection was set to begin for his case. Santos has previously pleaded not guilty to a range of financial crimes, including lying to Congress about his wealth, collecting unemployment benefits while actually working, and using campaign contributions to pay for personal expenses like designer clothing. Julie Walker, New York.
Pioneering TV talk show host Phil Donahue has died. Back in the 1960s, Donahue was the first to incorporate audience participation in a talk show. Phil Donahue died yesterday at the age of 88. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel said, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3.
Crazy Viernes.
Mornings with Mike Winters. All right, here on 106.5 Roswell Talk FM. Happy, oh so happy Monday.
Yeah.
It's Monday.
It's the start of all things and the end of all things.
Yeah. TV's going to be screwed up all week for all you network TV because the DNC's on all week. So you'll be doing that all night.
Buckle up for preemptions.
I'd be very curious to see if they are on the same amount as the RNC was.
Well, I don't know how much. Being so disconnected from actual TV, I don't know how much like primetime network coverage stuff gets.
And that's just it. Like, I mean, you have your Fox News channels, your CNNs, and they show it 24/7.
Sure.
But like during the RNC here a couple weeks ago, they get about an hour a night on your network.
It'll probably be whoever has the big speech of the night. Like I know Biden is going tonight.
Yeah.
So it'll probably just be whoever has the big speech of the night.
And that's what they usually do.
They'll probably just play that.
So
with
like
maybe
a
little beginning and ending punditry.
Yeah, I think they may get them 2 hours on some nights. But, but generally the big nights are the first night and the last night as far as speakers go. Because usually, like you said, it's a VP or something.
Well, and so much of this has already been determined. Like,
well, it's the same thing with the RNC. It's all the
yes and no. We didn't necessarily know that J.D. Vance was the
we did by the time the
Republican
RNC
nominee for vice president.
By day one of the
by day one we did, right.
Well, here's the thing. The RNC and the DNC, the conventions, yes. In design, by design, and what they're intended to do is to select the Democratic candidate or the Republican candidate.
And affirm all that stuff, yeah.
However, it's no longer that in reality.
Right.
That's all done. This next week is a 1 week commercial for their candidate.
Right.
And this is the part that get like when the Republicans had theirs here a couple of weeks ago, they had like these rap art people that were quote unquote not the conservative norm, the people and people were losing their mind. Why is this rapper stripper talking? I'm like. And I keep having to yell out in the ether, it's not for you, nor is this week for you.
Right.
If you're a hardcore Democrat and you're going to get mad at what's going on, which you probably won't because I don't think you do, but if you do, again, remind yourself they're trying to lure the other people to see your side.
Yes, and no. I agree with you absolutely that it's for, the undecideds, whatever.
Yeah.
And if you're hardcore, it's not going to make any difference. But I think the fact that it was Mova, the fact that it was, I can't think of her name offhand, but the woman who's basically responsible for starting the nationwide slut walk, the woman who has historically dated Kanye West and described him in words I cannot use on terrestrial radio, that woman is going to be your spokesperson. That was, I think, the surrealness of the whole thing is why.
But that's the thing. That's the thing. Republicans have an image of they're stodgy, this and that, and they're literally putting people out there. They say, you know what? Yes, this person is, quote unquote, does unsavory things. But you know what? Her beliefs and our beliefs are the same at this moment. Interesting, huh? And that's the Republicans are telling people, we're not as stuffed shirts as you think you are. See who we had on here?
Yeah.
That's exactly what they wanted. So yes, it did exactly what it was supposed to do. And I'm going to guess this week when you watch The Democrat, you're going to see more conservative people talking. You're going to see people that sound more down to earth. They're going to tell you things like, oh, we care about drilling. We're going to drill, baby, drill. They're going to lie to you and tell you all these things because they're trying to lure people that don't agree with them.
Right.
It's no different than the Republicans on that side doing their shtick.
It's all just a bunch
It's all a big advertisement. And if you understand that and go that way, maybe you won't be screaming at your TV yelling all night and ready to punch your kids because you've been acting like a fool all night. All right? That's all I'm trying to tell you.
Well, you haven't met my kids. You have no idea how punchable they can be
I just
sometimes.
know people lose their ever-loving mind over this stuff, and I'm like, stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Roy. Am I going to regret this?
No.
Okay.
What I think is they should probably use this as a chance to have a debate.
Between the candidates?
Between the candidates.
Well, there's going to be debate.
Yeah,
because there's no, I mean, like to have a candidate, because they didn't, because I don't think anybody actually and this is just my opinion, nobody actually voted for Kamala.
So you're saying that maybe that somebody else should step up, but who else could have the kind of impact?
That tried. They did all that.
Yeah,
The moments after Kamala was up, trust me, there was people in the DNC beating bushes. Hey, sure you don't want to run? Sure you don't want to run?
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is,
I know
the Democrat Party had no choice, because what kind of painting image do you say is this woman's been our vice president for the last 3 years now, and we don't have faith in her to be president? We're not backing the person that we've literally had. They had to. They had no choice, because if they backed some other horse in this, the Democrat Party would have gone in shambles, because they would have looked so bad. They would have literally handed the presidency to the Republicans if they did anybody other than Kamala at this point, or Kamala, or however you say her name. I don't know how to say it.
He knows. It's not even. It's just because it's how they have said it. Like it's how they have like taken it and like morphed it. It's like just say Kamala. That's.
I don't know. I hear it 100 times and like in my head it sounds.
No. I've heard you say Camilla more than I've heard you say Kamala.
Well, because in my head that's how it sounds. In my head that's just how it sounds. And to be honest, I think for years we were calling her that until the last year. Now it's Kamala.
Well, I think for a while it was Kamala, because that's how I heard.
People change
right,
the
that's
name
a potato thing, 100%. But Camilla is a different person. Camilla was the little chicken that Gonzo hung out with.
You know what? If we're that on the name, then you need to go beat cheeks. I mean,
beat cheeks.
I'm just tired of. It was Mac.
I love that. It's so amazing. All the new ones that I get to hear. Beat cheeks.
You need to get out of here. I'm tired with it. You know, it was Max von Sydow for my whole life until he wins an award, and that's Max von Sydow all of a sudden. Y'all need to shut up. I'm tired of the Kamalas, and the Sydows, and the Sydows. Y'all keep pound saying, when y'all figure out what your name is, get back with me.
Yeah. Matt Damon. Nobody ever called him Damon.
Self-righteous idiots thinking they're so important. Sydow now. Go pound.
You know what's funny is I was just looking at I was in our production order program that we use off air, is how we get our commercials and stuff. And I was looking at one of the new ads we have due for Devon Energy. The way that's spelled, it could so easily be taken in like 1,000 different directions. It could be Devon,
right?
Devon.
But I just heard it say Devon 100 times.
Right.
And it was Devon.
Because I was looking, I was like, yeah. The first thing that popped in my head was Devon get the tables.
I think that's when you get those little accentes things. Devon.
Devon.
Now it's an Elton
But
John
yeah,
song.
we've just known it as Devon Energy for long enough that it's Devon Energy.
Now I want to. Can we get Elton to do
We shall.
I know Elton can be bought. Maybe we can make it into a Devon. And
There you go.
Get. I mean, you're kind of a baller. You got Elton John singing your oil and gas song. How cool would that be? We're so baller. We got Elton John to sing our song, and we're an oil and gas company.
That's pretty baller. What's up? We don't even agree. We just had that kind of Skrilla.
It reminds me of that famous comic book writer Mark Millar. His
name is Mark Millar.
You don't read comics.
No, I do not.
He wrote Kick-Ass, but because
that was like a one movie one time.
He's from Scotland, and his name is actually Mark Miller. But everyone in America just likes pronouncing his name Millar.
Okay.
And he never corrected them because
does he spell it Millar?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's why they do
Millar,
it.
Yeah.
But nobody calls him Millar in his country. But he just doesn't correct it because he thinks it sounds like royal and cool and regal.
It's polite, yeah. He can maintain a new persona here.
Well, it's no different. We've had the discussion. I've said La Plata, La Plata, Stanton, Staunton's 100 times in here. You know, there's two towns, one in New Mexico, one in Maryland, spelled exactly the same. One's La Plata, one's La Plata.
Sure.
It's just life.
My uncle, my whole life was Jerry. Now all of a sudden I have to call him Susan. I mean, it's just you get used to new names.
When I went to Australia as a teenager and all that, and, I was watching the TV. They don't say Nissan; they say Nissan.
Nissan.
Yep.
Hyundai. That's another big one over there in.
Well, people in America can't get Hyundai right.
Oh, tell me about
it. I still hear people butcher that one. It's Hyundai.
I literally cut a commercial about that. You're going to say refi with Hyundai.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
But the correct pronunciation. Sorry, a little Popeye in me. Let me give you the rundown. Want some? Let me give you the rundown for this hour of the show. I think our guests are here. I hear people are stirring in the other room. We're going to get you up to date with the weather here in just a few. And then we're going to have Tori and Rowan join us from the UFO Skate Collective, Escape Park, and we'll they've got actually some updates, some events coming up at the skate park to talk about. And, of course, if you're not familiar, we'll learn you a little bit more about the Skate Collective as well, too. So that's our conversation here in a bit with Tori and Rowan. Later on in the hour, we'll get you up to date with news of the local variety, along with your Wall Street business update and whatever else we can come up with for today's show. But Foist, let's take a gander at your weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. High pressure overhead, and that'll hang around for a while. We'll be at around 100 to 105 for the afternoon high today, and lots of sunshine. Down to about 70 for the overnight low under clear skies. Another hot day coming up on Tuesday and Wednesday. 100 to 105, and we'll stay mostly sunny. More heat on Thursday. That's your latest forecast. This is staff meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently, I don't think I refreshed my weather. Let me give it a little fresher for you. Currently, 84 degrees here in Roswell. Yeah, mid-80s already. Gonna be scorcher. Humidity is at 34% with winds out of the south at 9 miles per hour. 101 for a high today under southeast winds 5 to 10. Tonight, clear. Overnight low 70. South winds 5 to 10. Tuesday, sunny and 102. South winds 5 to 10. Tomorrow night, clear with an overnight low of 70. Wednesday, sunny, 104. Thursday, sunny, 105. Friday night for football, or Friday, sunny, 103. Friday night, 72 for an overnight low, so still going to be warm. 103 for Saturday, 101 for Sunday's high. So all under sunny and clear skies. No talk of any kind of moisture this week from what I'm seeing here. So maybe that'll change, but right now, not on the radar. All right, it is 9:18. We're going to take about a 3.5-minute break, and then we'll talk about the UFO Skate Collective on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Artesia General Hospital has welcomed cardiologist Luther Weathers to the team. Dr. Weathers is board certified with a subspecialty in cardiovascular diseases. He treats patients with genetic heart defects, heart rhythm disorders, heart failure, coronary artery disease, chronic high blood pressure, and other cardiovascular diseases. Call 575-736-8270 to schedule your visit with Dr. Weathers in Artesia, or visit artesiageneral.com/cardio appointment. Se habla español.
The perfect pair of glasses is a lot closer than you think. The Eyesight in Roswell, Carlsbad, and Hobbs is now accepting new patients 5 and up. The Eyesight accepts all VSP vision plans for full contact lens and glasses, as well as Medicare, Davis, and more. Designer frames from Maui Gyms, Oakley, and so much more. The Eyesight in Roswell, Carlsbad, and Hobbs offers complete eye care, including pre- and post-cataract and LASIK, as well as glaucoma testing. The perfect pair is waiting for you at the Eyesight in Roswell, Carlsbad, or Hobbs. Clearly the best in sight.
With summer here, it's cool to be at the Cow. The Calico Cow Fabric and Gift Shop is your authorized Brothers Sewing Machine dealer for Southeast New Mexico, and they're all on sale right now at the Calico Cow. New fabric styles for summer are here, and holiday and Christmas fabrics are arriving daily. If you're still stitched to your own machine and you just want a tune-up, call for in-house maintenance 575-639-2586. The Calico Cow Fabric and Gift Shop, 200 East College in Roswell. Want to know how? Come see the Cow.
Hey Roswell, summer's winding down, but the deals are still hot during the Make It Ford Summer Sales Event at the all-new Roswell Ford. Right now, get crazy low prices on all-new Fords and quality pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs in stock. And top dollar for your trade. Stuck in your loan or lease? Roswell Ford wants to get you released, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth. So you can drive a new Ford or quality pre-owned vehicle for a lot less. For a limited time, get 0% APR and $1,900 in bonus cash on 2024 F-150 trucks. And make no payments for 90 days. Plus, we have a great selection of low-mileage, one-owner pre-owned vehicles, all in prime condition, starting at just $10,000. Don't settle for a low-quality, overpriced clunker. Buy a quality pre-owned vehicle from Roswell Ford for a lot less. Roswell Ford has partnered with the most aggressive lenders that will push to approve you today, even with bad or no credit. Lower prices, exceptional trade-in values, and a better buying experience. Get on board at Roswell Ford with new management and a whole new attitude. 821 North Main Street in beautiful Roswell, or online at roswellford.com. 0 APR for 36 months is $27.78 per thousand. Subject to lender approval through Ford credit. Offers not combined. Sale ends 9-2-24.
At Anderson Bethany Funeral Home and Crematorium, we honor and pay tribute to the achievements of your loved one by celebrating the life you shared together. Anderson Bethany Funeral Home and Crematorium is compassionate and cares about our local community and the families we serve here in southeastern New Mexico. Locally owned and operated, we will be here to help you decide how to celebrate the bond you've shared and pay tribute to the unique individual you've lost. Visit us at 2609 South Main in Roswell or call 622-5888.
So the weeds are taking over your property? Ask yourself, what would Jim Gill do?
This is Ben from Roswell Seed. If Jim was here, the first thing he'd do is figure out what kind of weeds you're dealing with. He'd recommend the best thing to get rid of them and show you how to use it. Then, he'd probably tell you a long story about the biggest weed he ever saw.
Big or small, when problems come along, head for Roswell Seed Company and ask them, what would Jim Gill do?
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Did you know you share your birthday with at least 9 million other people in the world? Your birthday isn't feeling so special now, is it? Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 22 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in the studio this morning from the UFO Skate Collective, UFO Bash, maybe some people might know it as, back in the day here. Tori Hornick back with us, and also Rowan Allen as well. Good morning, guys. Actually, Ron, I forgot to tell you, pull that mic up closer to you. Same with you, Tori, there. That way they can
getting right around here?
Yeah, I always tell people to eat them there.
Yeah.
So good morning. How you guys doing?
We're doing really good. How are you doing today?
Doing good. So you've been on before, and we've talked about the Skate Collective and all that. But before we talk about the events and everything else, let's kind of just give just the 50-cent tour of what the UFO Skate Collective is and how you guys got started and what you're all about.
So what we are is the Roswell, New Mexico skate community, and basically it's skaters of all age, who are local or they're from Artesia, just any skater basically who's at the park.
And we're talking skateboard, roller, inline, roller skating.
All wheels.
If there's wheels and feet involved, then we're about it.
If you are on wheels and you're moving, then even if you just want to watch too, like there's a lot of people that just like to watch and just watch everything.
Hey, I love it too,
Yeah, and so...
I'm 50 now, and quite frankly, I'm not in Tony Hawk shape, so I would be watching more.
Apparently, it extends your life too, your quality of life. There's been a lot of articles on that lately.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, you're being physical. It's, and mental. I mean, mental health is a huge thing, and we're all knowing. As we're evolving here, we're kind of learning more about mental health and doing things that make you happy are good for you healthy wise. That's just what happens here. So.
I think it's very interesting how it has evolved too, just from actual skaters that have been going to the skate park for a while to an actual supporting community of people that don't even really skateboard or
and this is, I'm not trying to play old man, when I was a kid moment, but I kind of am here. What I love is to see where you guys are at today with skating. Like I grew up. I'm 50. I grew up in the era of Tony Hawk coming into his time, and I was there when your Lords of Dogtown were kind of in the late 70s were kind of the kings of of this type of. Of course, they started in the surfing world, but all and so I grew up in that world, and to see it evolved, just even in my own time, where we're in the 80s, where Tony Hawk and Powell Peralta and your Bam and these various other iconic skaters. Have brought it to where literally these are just guys in their backyards finding empty pools, just wherever they can go to now being on ESPN, and there's X Games and now Olympics. You know what I mean? To now be here 50 and to see what in essence was just a couple kids, trying to stay out of trouble, and most times get out of our parking lot and get out of you guys here. I'm sure time. From that to literally these guys.
Sport.
I mean, so I love how it's evolved and grown, and I love that you guys are continuing and trying to bring the passion of the sport to people here in southeast New Mexico.
Yeah, well, and because when we started, it originally was my son's first birthday. He really loved watching everybody skate because it was during COVID. We always hung out at the skate park because what else were you going to do at that time? And so the kid literally could stand on a skateboard before he could walk. And so it started because I wanted to show him, for your birthday, let's give back to the community rather than just doing something for yourself. I was like, let's do something for everybody right now. And I wanted to bring everybody together, too, because during COVID, it was a different time. So we started out just from a kid's birthday party event. And I paid for everything from that event. And then after that, I was like, the next year came around and people were asking, like, can we do more? And we started doing other barbecues in between. But that's how this all started. And then we really became an actual community where we got together and we're like, how can we make the skate park better? Like, how can we make our skate community better, not just for us, but for anybody who wants to use it?
Sure.
And, now we go to city council meetings.
Absolutely. And that's the part I like what you guys are doing, because I invite you to go, if you go on Facebook, the UFO Skate Collective, you type it in the Google or in the search bar, it'll pop right up, and like and follow it. And then read some of the posts, and that, like, you guys are taking ownership of the skate park, taking care of it. Like, I just so happened a couple days ago, you put a post, I guess someone was doing some painting out at the park, and you're like, hey guys, we have permission to do these things, but we got to go through proper channels. Just don't start painting. And so I love that. You're like self-community. You know what I mean? It's
because we want to fix it ourselves. We want to make sure it looks nice.
You've taken ownership of this and are really making it into something proud and better for the community. And then, like you said, when it happens, because you can't control everybody. And I love that you're like, no, hey guys, look, this is a great thing, but we gotta do it the right way. So come support us, and let's go through the proper channels to get these things painted.
Well, and that way they're not wasting their money either, because they spend their money on all that spray paint, stuff like that. And it's like, hey, we can actually do this where it's not going to disappear tomorrow.
Sure. But this is how you make your community better, and I like that. And so I love that you guys are doing that and going through the proper channels, and because let's face it, especially because I grew up in a time where, skating and all that's the rebel. That's these are the it's just like motorcycles, the biker gang. And now it's a recreational sport and everybody and their uncles got. But back in the day, you were looked at as a rebel. And so skating still, even to this day, has that
connotation.
That stigma, I guess what you call it. And so for you guys almost have to go above and beyond to prove to other people that you're just not a bunch of kids that are get off my lawn and free time and a bunch of kids in their vans and just loitering on the corner all day.
For sure.
And you got to overcome that stigma, and that's why I'm saying go to the Facebook page and see what they're actually doing. See what they're doing. They're organizing. They're we've got, and we'll tell you about them. We got a couple events coming up here for families and everybody to come out and be a part of here. But if you look in between those and you see, this is a group that's taking ownership and taking this park, and obviously, we're pushing towards a new skate park with new things and working with city council on that. But in the meantime, that's still a couple years down the road before we're going to see anybody hitting a ramp or doing anything on that thing. In the meantime, we got our skate park, and so there's, and you can pretty much go out there every weekend. There's something going on, concerts, and people just collectively, skating.
It's busy whenever there's not school and stuff. It's basically busy throughout the day, as long as it's not like 110 degrees. There's somebody usually out there. That is definitely for sure. And like right now we actually
food trucks. If you want to just park there,
There's actually sometimes a little ice cream lady would come by. Hey, that I definitely wouldn't argue about an ice cream truck being out there during the summer. No, and then so like right now we have a bunch of repairs going on the concrete side, which were much needed. And that's something that we all got together and we were able to get city council members and Christina Arnold, Mr. Nahar, he was really good on helping us with that. And then Miss Allen as well. They're part of the engineers. They really helped us break way in doing all of this stuff. And same with Jim from Parks and Rec. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have gotten as far as we've gotten with the city. And they really have helped us because right now the concrete side, they just drilled a bunch of old concrete out to fix all those cracks that we had. And they relayed the concrete down, and like it is going to take a few more weeks, or we're not really sure because the people are working on a few other projects here.
Construction, and quite frankly, we want
it done right.
They have to prioritize, and a skate park is going to take less priority over something, a business or a house.
Well, it's a road, like the
road
streets.
or something infrastructure related.
Yeah. No, and I'd rather have them take their time and get it done right than rush through it. And it looks a lot better than what it was for sure.
Well, and this is how this happens. And because you're actually going to the city council meetings, talking with your people that you voted for on city council, talking to them, working through those channels. This is why you elect people to city council. It's not just a fun thing you do once a year to go in and go vote. This is why you vote. And so then when you have questions, concerns, things you want to bring about the community, you go see them. And that's exactly what you did. And now this is where we are years later, after years of that creating and establishing relationships And I'm sure there was a feeling like, because you guys are probably like, oh, they're not gonna do nothing for us. This is blowing. And then conversely, they're probably thinking these kids aren't serious.
Yeah.
Are they really serious? And now, after a couple years of knowing each other, it's like they're serious. And yes,
we should take them seriously.
And you're like, yes, they really do want to help if we give them and show support too.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love that you guys. Yes, it's all skating and it's all that, but I think there's a bigger picture here, and it's showing that if you have a passion, if you want to see change, how do you make that happen? Here's an example.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about it.
Yeah. No, and that's one cool thing about, because Rowan, he's been with us, too, from the start. Like, all of our skaters who have been helping us with all of this, they've been a part of it since before it even actually started. Like, before we had a name and everything, or before we knew what we were doing, like, these guys have been here helping us.
Sure.
And it's just, and that's one of the main reasons why we got to keep it going, too, because the changes it's had on their lives and just on, like, what it can do for them, and it's the same in what it can do for you. Like, once you have a hobby, it really does make a difference in everything.
Absolutely. And I know just from knowing it, it's kind of a close-knit community. They're very close-knit. I mean, they're very welcoming, but at the same time, kind of a family. You know what I mean? Anybody's welcome, but once you're in, you've got a network of people that look out for you, and conversely, you look out for as well.
No, as soon as you step out of your vehicle or however you get to the skate park, once you're there, everybody's gonna treat you like a brother or family member.
And this is kind of cross promoting here. Food Not Bombs. They often will do their when there's food and things. Same kind of deal. And again, it's part of that.
They actually set up for our last event for Skate Day. They came out and were giving out free food as well, just because that was during whenever the fire and stuff happened.
People in it, and so also that area is also kind of by default turned into, yes, people come to skate, but people also know they're in need.
Yeah.
Hey, let's drop by. Sometimes they're serving food, and so there's people there that maybe they're just there to listen to music and watch the skating.
Yes, but we do give out free food and all stuff like that.
But at the same time, they're getting fed, they're getting clothing or whatever, because a lot of times when Food Not Bomb shows up, it's what do you need?
Yeah.
Here's some food. What else do you need?
And then sometimes too, we do get donations for like little kids not brand name skateboards, but we get like donations for some little skateboards, some roller skates and stuff like that. And whenever they come, those are the first things that are gone within minutes.
I got to ask this question because my first skateboard. Now I played hockey, and so I was more rollerblades and all that. But there was a phase in my life where I did a little skateboarding. I was more of a hockey person. That's what gravitated for me. I had a friend that he was like an only child. And so he got the best of everything. So like when G.I. Joe, he had like the bass, he had all the cool stuff. But in our moment of getting into skating, we all had like whatever cheap board you could get, like whatever. Not him. He had the Tony Hawk model with the latest, and of course re-put in the high-end trucks, the high-end rails, the high-end wheels, the high-end bearings. And now me, and I don't even know if they make these anymore. It was literally a blue piece of very flexible plastic. That was
probably the penny board.
It was almost made like if you ever got one of those sleds, like the little disc sleds.
Yeah.
A slightly thicker plastic than that, but that's pretty much what it was.
Yeah.
And then it had garden variety bare minimum trucks, and if I remember right, like metal skate wheels. Like it didn't even have like padded
urethane
wheels.
Wheels weren't really super common back then.
Yeah, it was like metal wheels, and I about broke my neck, but I got all over town on that thing for a year or two there.
I'm sure too.
Like,
the bears
are those even
back then
around?
were better.
Like, can you?
They're like collector's items. It's very
So
interesting.
I bet if I had it,
some of them are probably worth a lot of money.
Oh, they are.
I beat the snot out of it, but
even still, like,
no,
it's crazy.
even like that, like they still sell for a lot.
Yeah, like matter of fact, and I still have them. I have a pair of rollerblades in my closet. I haven't skated on them in 20, 30 years, but those are my hockey skates. I played, and they're expensive. They're rollerblade brand. I paid probably $350 for them, which was a lot of money at the time. I have no idea what they go for now, but and now they greatly need service. I need to replace probably the wheels, the bearings, and clean.
Once you change your bearings, that really does help a lot. It does make an old pair
20 years
new.
of crud up in there, things that need to be cleaned out. But and I imagine that's part of it too. Is like if you get into it, because like any other sport or hobby, you can get in cheap or you can get in expensive. And if you're interested, you come out, and that's where you can get to talk to other skaters and other people. And it's like, hey, or I imagine there's even a little bit of oh, you're getting into skating. Oh, cool. Look, this was my first board. This is a board I had. I'm not using anymore. Here, learn on that sucker till, now it's your board. I'm
And
sure
that
there's
does
kind of
happen a
things
lot.
like that. That does happen.
And I feel like it's scary for like younger people that don't know how to ask these questions or like are kind of nervous to ask older skaters. And it's like, that's why the community is so important is to be like help guide people. You know?
And that's why I almost
exactly
you gotta, because let's face it, when I grew up and stuff, skaters again, rebel personality. You see a bunch of kids skating, you got punk music blaring. You don't feel like, hey, maybe I should walk up and see how these boys are doing. It's just not something you did.
No, for sure.
But now we're saying, no, please come say it because you say, hey,
and we
this
want
is
you
cool.
guys to come ask.
And
if you
everyone's
don't
been
know.
in that position before too. You know, which is like what they don't really realize. But all the older kids like were in that their same shoes at one point. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You felt unapproachable.
Yeah.
Now it's like, no, this is very much approachable. This is what the Skate Collective is about. We want to bring all people that love to get on wheels and scoot around, whether it's rollerblades or roller skates or skateboard or bikes. Even don't you even have BMX and that kind of
we
stuff
do have
too?
some BMX riders too.
Yeah. So and by the way, all of them, when you find a ramp or they're up there doing their thing.
We even get ramps like donated to us too. So like we would set up in the parking lot and do like a street skating session and stuff like that. But any type of event we're having or skate meet, if anybody has any questions, just please find us. Like, we'd rather have you skating safely and like having your trucks on the right way rather than backwards, and then you're wondering why you're falling off every 2 seconds. Like,
you want
we
a
want to
positive
help
experience
you.
for them, and if your
We want
positive
them to
experience
skate.
is because you're skateboarding backwards, and let's face that.
Yeah, because trust me, trucks backwards, that's a real fast no-go.
I know going fakey's a trick, but not the way you were doing it.
No, yeah, for sure. No, and that's one thing too about like our skate community is anybody, even if we're not having an event, and if you're out there, like there's not a time you can't go out there and one of the skaters won't help you.
Yeah,
like they're very welcoming.
Yeah, well, like I said, because it's it's big and broad, but still very niche at the same time.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, like everybody knows it, but there's really a niche community that actually participates and does it. And on it, most of us are like, oh, flip channels, X Games on. I watch some skateboard. But they're rarely out and do it. Now we're saying, no, come out after you watch. And by the way, you don't have to be a daredevil to do this stuff. You don't have to go out and enjoy skating to be on the ramps and do all that.
I call myself a pro cruiser because I just cruise. Like, I'm not going to exert myself that far, but I love cruising. I love watching everybody, and I really enjoy it. But when I was younger, I used to do all that stuff, but not anymore.
And that's kind of like me. Like, I was built because I played hockey, because I could ice skate, I could, roller skate. And so mine was through hockey. I still so I'm not, I'm not doing pirouettes or learning tricks on a ramp or any of that stuff. Mine's balance and used to, and to be honest, skates are way different. I'm sure, like an ice skate for that Tanya Harding and those people are using is not the same as what Wayne Gretzky's using on the hockey rink. And I'm sure skating is the same way when it comes to skateboarding. And I'm guessing
they're all different.
A board you use in say a pool or a pipe is probably a little bit
different
than you use on a more flat surface like at the skate park.
And I think going back to what you were saying is I think the positive first experience is like the most important part, because most of the time like people are like, oh, I rode a skateboard one day and I fell on my butt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I never got back on it, or I like broke my wrist.
Yeah.
I think
you got to get back
that
on the horse.
positive environment for the first time is like very important.
No, and you're right on that too.
And you're gonna fall.
Yeah,
that's part of the that's part of the thing, and it's and please don't feel like back when I grew up, it was almost like it was a badge of honor to not go helmeted and all that. Now it's like no, wear the pads, elbows, knees. Your body will thank you 20 years down the road.
Well, because and that's the thing too, is because like you want to be able to learn how to fall, and so like let's say if you have a wrist guard on and that helps you where you feel more comfortable to like catch yourself with your hands, whatever you have to do to get you there, do it.
All right, when because like I said, I played hockey.
And brain injuries, let's avoid those.
Yeah. Brain injury, bad check. But because I played street hockey and all that, but then first time I played ice hockey and I bought all the gear and I got and I was like, oh my goodness, and I literally skated right into a wall head first. It was like, oh my God, I don't feel it. This is and I was very brave all of a sudden. And this, so I get what you're saying. You're like, you put a wrist guard on, and then you're like, I fell, and like, hey, that didn't hurt.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you're like, all right, let's push the envelope here. And that's what we want to do it safely, obviously, but please feel comfortable to come out and do all this stuff. Now, I want to allow time here. You guys have several events coming up in the next couple months here.
Yes.
Some coming up here in the next couple weeks or days.
Yes.
Others kind of about a month or two down the road.
Yeah, so August 25th is going to be our all-girls skate meet. But even, let's say, if you aren't a girl and you still do want to come by, we're not going to run you off, of
it's
course.
It's a big park. We can find you.
No, of
to
course.
skate around.
But, so we're having an all-girls skate meet, and we'll have coffee and donuts for that.
Well, somebody's got to sit on the side and slap hands. Now, that might be a little too young.
Yeah.
See, back in the day when you were in the roller rinks, it'd be like, fellas only now. Fellas only. And then we go skate, and they put something like pour some sugar on me. And then we try to put your hands out and hope a girl would slap your hand. And if you got one to do it, you're like, stud right here.
I see what you mean.
Right here is a stud. No. Yeah, you're looking at a stud right here.
Yeah,
so you need that so we can slap the girls' hand when they go around there.
Yeah, so we have that, which will be August 25th, which will be this Sunday coming up. And then the one after that, I'm super excited for. It's September 15th. And, and the girls' skate meet's going to be at 11 a.m. in the morning.
Okay, on the 24th.
On the 25th.
5th, sorry.
Yeah, on Sunday the 25th. And then the one I'm really excited about, too, is going to be Sunday the 15th for September. And that's going to be, we're going to bring a projector out to the skate park and have a whole movie theater basically set up.
Cool.
And we're going to play a bunch of not old, but skate movies.
Ooh.
And they're going to be like the best, we're going to bring a bunch of skate movies.
Like, how old we talking?
So I have like,
yeah, right. Old?
No, so I actually have that set too. I do have that set. So like anywhere, but that's the thing. I'm going to bring out a bunch of movies. So we're going to let the crowd pick which ones. But I got like, yeah, right,
fully flared, I think.
Yeah, fully flared and the final flare. Those are some Lakai videos. Yeah, I'm excited
so, like,
about
the actual
that.
skate, like the old Thrasher videos.
Yeah, we're gonna actually play skate movies at the skate park.
Okay, I was
that'll
thinking
be
more
at
like
6:30.
Like movies about that had featured skating. And
no, but there's like I even have
more
like a
Hollywood
skate
movies.
kitchen. But if that's what people want to watch, we'll watch that. But yeah.
But I remember back in because there was actually a skate shop that we could walk to from our neighborhood.
For sure.
And that was the biggest thing. Thrasher's magazine. That was that's the Rolling Stone magazine of the skating world here. And back in the day that's how all these guys like Bam and all them got famous. They would literally film themselves beating the living snot out of each other, jumping ramps and trying to pull off rail tricks. And then you would literally go into any skate shop, kind of like our thing, and there would just be a constant loop of those videos. And you could, I think, and at the time you could buy the magazines, and I think you could even they had a section at the Blockbuster.
Yeah,
you could kind of go.
They even had it at Hastings when Hastings was open.
Yeah,
and then we have another now the event that I was telling you about, which started everything. So for November 3rd, we're gonna actually have our 5th annual skate bash, which we do it's my son's birthday.
I think first time you were on the radio, we were doing the 3rd or 4th annual.
Yeah, and so now it's the 5th. It's the 5th annual, and so basically, and you couldn't tell. The only thing about it that looks like it's a birthday is the cakes or the cupcakes and stuff. But it's really about everybody.
Sure.
Like we make sure, and we get a bunch of donations from all the skate brands and stuff. And so we even I actually even got some sponsor boxes in this week from a few, and I was super excited because I opened up one box and it's a bunch of stuff from Santa Cruz, and I was like, ooh,
cool.
sweet.
So there's like giveaways of swag and whatnot?
Yeah, and our last event, I started giving out stuff to people in the crowd, so that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to give stuff out to everybody. Like once you start rolling at the skate park, you're entered to win something. And basically for this event, what we're going to do, we're going to have like biggest bail. Somebody's going to win a trophy for that. But like, we're basically going to be giving prizes out just for skating and doing what you can do.
Sure.
And so if we notice you're trying a trick over and over and over again.
Like a talent showcase for skating.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's not like you don't have to be 1, 2, or 3. It's like everybody gets something.
Just come and show us your routine or show us what you're going to do.
And so that'll be November 3rd, and it's going to start at noon, and we're going to have food for everybody. We're also going to have live music, and I think they're actually working on like a DJ this year. I'm not 100% sure, but then also bands. We get bands to play.
I think you guys know a few live bands.
Yeah, and so they'll be out, and then we're also getting like the Jolly Jump too for the kids. And then we actually, for this event, we have an art table set up that actually has like wood cutouts of little skateboards and roller skates that the kids can paint. Just because, sometimes kids don't want to be on a skateboard all the time. And so that's what the Jolly Jump and the art table's for, is to keep them busy.
Absolutely.
And we'll also have prizes for them too, like, tech decks and all that stuff. We'll have age-appropriate prizes for everybody.
Good deal.
Yeah.
And so that'll be
November 3rd, and it'll start at noon. Yeah, and I'm super excited about all these events.
We'll definitely have you back in before that to remind folks.
Oh, and then also too, we didn't real quick though, just because we are working on phase 2 of the new skate park, which is looking for new grants because
more money.
It's always about that, but. Yeah, and so we're gonna actually phase out the construction of the park, and depending on what
at some point you're like, we got to put this towards the new park instead of revamping this park.
Yeah,
get it.
Well, and that was different money too. That money was for repairs.
And that's just where meeting with city council and
it does all that.
Here's a grant, but it's only earmarked to do this. We can't do this with it, and so
the city works in mysterious ways.
You guys are learning how government works.
But we are getting that done.
Man, it's crazy and messed up.
Yeah, so we are getting that done. Just because a lot of people, they're like, oh, you just got a design. And we're like, well, we always knew that was always what was going to happen. That was phase 1. This is phase 2.
And anytime you're dealing with government entities and public
funding,
there's
a lot of work.
It's glacial. It's slow,
go around.
And the point is, it's going to be slow, but we hope to get it right.
Yes.
Exactly.
Rather
That's
than
what we're
fast
to.
And
sloppy.
We cut a few corners. We missed a few things that we needed to do here. So yes, this may be a multiple year. We're 5-6 years down the road before we're seeing, the thing where we break ground and we're doing what we want to do. But we got to keep the passion going.
Yeah.
Like I said, keep raising the funds, keep beating the bushes for grant money, and at the same time creating the buzz. So when we do have the new park, we've got another generation of people that are going to use it and take ownership of it.
Exactly.
And kind of do what you guys are doing now for this generation.
And that's kind of the whole point, is we're hoping that by doing what we're doing, it'll make other people care. And I think since we've started, it has changed a lot of people's point of view. We recently it did get graffitied up, but it used to get graffitied every week. Now it's maybe once a year, if that.
And I believe that's how you kind of, communities have to kind of take care of their own and stuff.
Yeah.
And you want nice things, and that's kind of what you guys are doing. Yeah, there's going to be there's always people that do things. If there's something awesome, there's always going to be one person that's got to throw a wrench in there.
Always.
Just life. And if you get it, if you guys let it, that's what's going to be the thing that ruins everything. And then you guys, and really to the credit of the community too, it's like, okay, there's a bit of a self-monitoring of this a little bit, where yes, when this does happen, but like I said, when I was pointing out earlier, you're on Facebook, say, hey guys, look, if you want to keep this one thing we got to work together to work with them.
Yeah.
And by us just willy-nilly painting things or doing graffiti or things out there, you are actually doing more harm to the actual big picture, what we're trying to do here. I get it. And let's face it, you're young. That's to rebel. That's
trust me, I get that. I really do.
That's just in the blood of a young person.
For sure.
Is.
And
You
trust
know
me,
what
I feel sometimes like people's grandma. I'm like, come on, and I'm like, I know better, but at the same time, I'm like, we're trying to do something so that way we don't have to get in trouble when you do get caught doing this type of stuff.
You've got enough people that you have to convince.
Yeah.
Let's not implode within our own selves here on that. And that's what I think you guys do a real good message of that. It's saying, hey guys, look, let's this is our thing. We got to take care of it if you want it to be bigger and better. If you want all the things that you keep saying you wish you had, this is the path we have to go down to get to those things.
For sure.
So let's be a part of that.
Is there anything you want to say?
I think it's really interesting how this is the most unified the skate community has ever been I've been going to the skate park since I was a wee lad.
So you're seeing that
you're seeing
that evolution,
before
so to
everyone's
speak.
coming together and for the greater good at this point. It's never been everyone working together to achieve a common goal. And now it's at the
point,
top of that, the apex of that.
When we're kids and there's groups and then you're like, yeah, I'm behind it, but because those guys are in, I'm out. You know what I mean? There's a whole lot of that. Well, if so-and-so's in, I'm out, or this is in, I'm out. And and that's what usually generally tears these kinds of things up. So for the first time, you're kind of saying, everyone's kind of putting those differences aside and saying, hey, do you want something
We
here?
all want it,
Let's at least get there, and then we can debate, who
all the little things,
But
And that is true. It really is. And that's one cool thing too, to see it happen, because I've been going out there for almost 20 years now. So I'm like, I mean, I've seen where people wouldn't even talk to each other.
And so you guys are kind of the next generation where like you were the kids and now your kids are coming to the point
that's
where you're like.
the whole point of it too, is we want it to be a safe area for everybody. And we want more for everybody. We do. We want Roswell to have more, and this is something we can change and we all enjoy, so that's what we're working at.
I feel like for me, this isn't like really for like me or our generation. This is like giving to the next generation of
planting
like
the
what
seeds.
we wanted when we were kids. That like
hopefully
we can get it for them.
Like,
you
this
know?
is your skate park.
Yeah.
Come on out on the 25th and for girls skate here and come see it. That's your park.
Yeah.
What you're creating now is what we hope the next generation.
100%.
And you're just hoping that you're healthy enough to get a few
Yeah,
laps on
honestly,
that board before your health draws apart.
Yeah, I just at least want to see it. Just at least like as long as it's going in motion before like I take my last breath. That's all that matters.
Sure.
Like I'll be on the bed croaking.
I get that. 'Cause that's kind of I feel about hockey. Because I grew up a kid. Like I had to drive 45 minutes to go to a hockey rink, and I had to play like 6 in the morning, and it just wasn't. And this was in Maryland. It wasn't, but now there's a hockey rink in the hometown I grew up in. Like you could do like like they've got it. So it's I'm like I wish I had that when I was their age.
Exactly.
But I'm glad they got it now.
Yeah,
it's almost the exact same scenario for you guys here.
And that's the only way it'll happen is if people put the work into it.
You had the neighborhood. You probably didn't even have this skate park per se. Maybe at the beginning.
Not really.
Yeah, that came a little bit
later.
That
came later, yeah. Or like they had one part done and then they got the other part later on.
But that's skating. That's the history of skating. That's why you look and when you. Of course, with California, the Lords of Dogtown, if you ever watch those movies, they all started in back pools, people's empty pools in the backyards and doing it, and it just caught on. So, they were looking for something in between surfing to do it.
Exactly.
And it turned into the sport and the international success that it is now.
For sure.
So, good deal. Again, go to UFO Skate Collective on Facebook. Just go to Facebook, type in UFO Skate Collective. You can throw in at Roswell if you want to for funsies, and it should pop right up.
Even if you do Google, if you put in Roswell Skate Park, everything pops up.
Yeah, that'll
it's really
get you there
awesome.
too. Roswell Skate Park, any of that. And then I encourage you to like and follow the page, and then stay abreast because like almost daily you're putting up. If there's not talking about events. Just
even the repairs at the park because a lot of people call wondering what's going on. So I'm trying to save people the hassle of having to call. I'm like, here, I'll put it. I post everything so you all. Everybody knows.
And if you keep checking back, the algorithms will put it in your wall more often and all that, too.
Aren't some of the events on the City of Roswell?
Yeah, and all of our events, too, they are posted on the City of the Roswell pages. And even the event page, the tourist event page, I forget at the moment, the Guy Malone runs it. I have stuff on that as well.
And I imagine, too, it's
and
probably,
the paper.
like if you go to the city's website, go to their event calendar, it's probably all on there, too.
Yeah. And
So
if it's not on there yet, I just have to do it, and it'll be on there in the next couple days.
But the one that's coming up the quickest is here on the 25th. That's the girls' skate out at the skate park here on the 25th. What time again are you guys
It's going to be at 11.
11 a.m. Come on out. If you want to get out there early and get
we'll
a few
have coffee and donuts.
A few runs in. Yeah, come hungry. Come ready to have fun. And come one, come all. Bring the whole families. It's the girls skate, but everyone will get to skate.
And we just say that, too, because a lot of times, with the females, they don't come out a lot. So we try to, when we do the all-girls, it's crazy. I'm like, where were you? Where have you been? Because, last time we did this, there was 20 girls I never even met before that were all skating. And I was like, what? And so, that's the whole, and they really do, come out of the bushes.
Growing the community.
It's really fun.
So that'll be on the 25th here.
Yes.
And then we got some more coming up.
Yeah,
That's the one you need to know about.
Yes.
And then, like I said, UFO Skate Collective, follow on Facebook. And that way you can not only read more about what we were just talking about, and if you have questions or if you have a vision, hey, when you do this skate park thing, I'd love y'all to see this, They're always looking for more people to get involved.
Yeah.
And if you have a passion for this stuff, maybe you have expertise in certain areas that could be, it's like, hey,
For sure.
I'm a lawyer. I know a lot of legal stuff. Maybe I can help you navigate through some of that.
No, and that's one thing, too. I always encourage people to reach out. And one thing, though, is, things do take time. But we can get it done. It just takes time. Like, and that's one thing.
Time and money.
Yeah, for sure. And that's one thing I really do like. I'm like, if anybody has any ideas for events, anything like that, just reach out. Like, we're here to help, like, to do this type of stuff. Like,
we will help you. What's a Ghostbuster?
yeah, like, build it, they will come type of thing.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
we want to encourage everybody. And if you have a creative idea, let's hear it. Let's get going.
It's a community space. It's a community thing. The skating, from every aspect of it, is from the skating park to the where it goes in the future to
exactly.
You say, hey, what do you see? I've got an idea, but to be honest, it hasn't evolved yet. Who knows? But, ideas come. Yes, we have a set plan for the skate park now, but as we're raising funds, times may change, needs may change, and we may need to add something. Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe a whole new thing comes about. All of a sudden, we're like, we need to make arrangements for that.
No, for sure. And then even too with doing the whole new skate park, we got to show them like, hey, there's a reason and a need for it. So let's keep the momentum going to keep the need happening.
Absolutely. Yeah. So again, UFO Skate Collective on Facebook, and then come on out here on the 25th to the skate park. Give the actual address to the skate park. I don't know. I know where it's at, but I never.
So they technically have two addresses.
Okay.
It's kind of funny. So it's 1620 West College is one of them, and then 1500 West College is the other one.
It's just a stone throw from the aquatic center and all that stuff. It's right there in that same.
Cielo. Yeah, it's just Cielo Grande.
Cielo Grande area. It's right there in the park.
But Google Maps will help you perfectly. That's a good way to do it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys.
No, thank you for having us.
Anytime, and we'll see you all next time here as we get closer to some of these events down the road.
Yes.
We'll put the bee in the bonnet to remind everybody here. So, and awesome what you guys are doing. Keep
No, thank you.
and keep the nose to the ground.
No, for sure. Thank you for having us.
Anytime. 9:57. I got just enough time to pay a few bills to eat to pay for my lunch. So quick break before they kick me off the radio. Don't go away.
Hey, this is Jennifer from Trustmark Roofing. Every storm chaser's worst nightmare. You know storm chasers, those out-of-town roofers that descend on neighborhoods after big storms. They come in, do a crummy job, then poof, they're gone forever. Well, a few years ago, our area had a hailstorm, and right on cue, storm chasers showed up. I was driving home from work one evening and saw one talking to an elderly lady on her porch. I said, not today, buddy. I did a U-turn, pulled in the driveway, and walked right up to them. I warned the woman who they were talking to, and I chased away the storm chaser. The woman's daughter called me later and said a storm chaser ripped them off a few years ago. She thanked me for stopping this one and chose Trustmark for her roof. Trustmark Roofing. Every storm chaser's nightmare. Every homeowner's champion. Call today for your 20% off coupon for our spring and roof gutter maintenance service. 575-755-ROOF. or visit TrustmarkRoofPros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
A good night's sleep is so important, and issues like sleep apnea make falling asleep and staying asleep nearly impossible, but we can help. I'm Dr. Sarah Usher at Carabelli Dental. With the help of a simple oral appliance, your sleepless nights could be a thing of the past. But don't take my word for it, just ask Lainey.
My name is Lainey Smith. I wasn't surprised when I found out I had sleep apnea simply because I had a horrible sleep pattern. I attempted to use the machine and it drove me nuts and I could not sleep with it. And then that's when Dr. Agger told me about the oral appliance. I would suspect I've been using it for 2 years now. In all of that time, I've had less than 10 poor nights of sleep. It's a complete game changer. I feel a lot better because I sleep.
This simple appliance can change your life. Call us today to set up your appointment so you can finally get the good night's sleep you need.
Come see the team at Carabelli Dental at the corner of 9th and Main in Roswell or call 575-622-4455.
Innovation, service, integrity, and knowledge. J.S. Ward & Son Insurance Agency. Auto and home, life and health, personal and commercial. Bonds too, since 1925, we have the coverage for you. Innovation, service, integrity, and knowledge. J.S. Ward & Son Insurance Agency.
If you're a service member, veteran, or family member who's feeling alone,
whether you're in crisis or not,
don't remain silent and suffer alone.
There is help out there.
Talk to someone you can trust.
Free confidential support is available 24/7 through the Veterans Crisis Line. Just text or call 988 and press 1 for veterans. Talking to someone about suicide won't increase the risk of suicide. It could save a life. Brought to you by the New Mexico Department of Veterans Services, the Department of Health, and this station.
White House correspondent Greg Cluxton reports from Chicago.
Democrats are gathering here for a much different party convention than what was planned just a month ago. Following President Biden's dropping out of the race, Vice President Harris moved to the top of the ticket and injected new energy into the Democratic campaign. With his keynote speech tonight, the president will be making a symbolic handoff. He plans to explain why he believes Harris must replace him and defeat Donald Trump in November. Greg Clugston, Chicago.
Also at townhall.com, National Weather Service meteorologist James Tomasini, covering New York and Connecticut, say parts of the region received up to 10 inches of rain, but this was from a separate weather pattern not related to Ernesto.
There was a flash flood emergency in effect, and there was numerous flooding reports. Both those areas had road closures,